for the win, Houston. Pionk with a ripper. It took 17 seconds, and the Jets win this in overtime.
Well, a thunderous Thursday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, as always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game, use the promo code Gregor50 and get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. Also today, the Daily Grand, where you can get your chance to win $1,000 a day for the next 20 years. Woo! How fun would that be? Very good. So play it, the Daily Grand at PlayAlberta.ca. I'm Jason Gregor. He is Connor Halley, Declan Kruger. Also long-running things at Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X for all of our digital viewers. Everybody listening, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Hope you're having a great day. And who knows what tonight will hold for the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. For a guy who loves rivalry games, it would be fantastic to see some extra emotion in the game. I'd love it. Historically, does it happen? Not really. Every now and then. But, now, here's the thing. The NHL could have helped make this a game that everybody would be excited to watch. Because you could have suspended both Myers and McDavid for one game. Now imagine if both of them were playing today. All Oilers fans would be like, is something going to happen? Something going to happen? Canuck fans, same thing. It would be great. Be awesome. But lo and behold, it will not be. Now, the Oilers, they want to try to avoid only their second 3-game losing streak of the season, which also happened to be the first 3 games of the year. They haven't lost 3 straight since. They've only lost 2 straight in regulation twice, once in November, and then, of course, currently right now. And both 3-2 losses to Vancouver and the Washington Capitals. Then you have the fact that the Vancouver Canucks come to town after losing to the lowly Buffalo Sabres on Tuesday. They blew a 2-1 lead. The Sabres were 2-17 when trailing after 40 minutes before coming back, scoring twice, and winning in Vancouver. The Canucks have played 24 home games. They have 8 wins. Brutal. So, man, you see stories in Vancouver. They're saying how Connor Garland's public enemy number 1. I don't think I've received one text from people upset at Connor Garland. I also, there's rumors that there was shirts being made about where are these people? What is Vancouver? They just make up stuff? Oh, because one person on Twitter says something and that means that, wow, everybody's doing it. It's stunning to me. I'm not sure there's a market that creates more drama than the Vancouver Canucks. The organization definitely creates a lot of their own. And then it just fuels the fire. And it's interesting. The coach was disappointed, the calm dad disappointment, which can be the worst type. Like that's the one that really hits you when you're a kid. You're, oh, God. You know what? When you're that teenager, and maybe when you're a young adult and, you do something dumb and you're expecting your mom or your dad to get really fired up and they just calmly look at you. I'm very disappointed in the choice you make. You're like, oh, please yell at me. I'd much rather you yell at me right now than that. It's the worst. So kind of what Rick Tocchet did yesterday after practice. Very calm. Mentioned disappointment 3 different times in his press conference. So I would think the Canucks will come in here fired up. You never know. The Oilers, hey, they played well on Tuesday. They didn't win. But, good teams, they don't like to have a 3-game losing streak. So they'll want to end it before it, matches the season high. So both teams have something to play for. Now, I would love to see a welterweight bout. Troy Stecher, Connor Garland. It'd be unreal. Am I expecting it to happen? No. But it would be great. Now, Connor Garland did nothing that would make you think, oh, there's got to be retribution. It wasn't an elbow to the face. It wasn't a slash to the back of the leg. There's nothing. There's a little bit of a hold. That's it. So that's why I don't expect it. But just, you know what? You don't have to be rational sometimes in what you want to use as motivation to get you fired up for a game. You don't have to. And Michael Jordan, anybody who watched the documentary about the Bulls, like he would find any little thing to take as a slight and then play great. What's wrong? You can make it up in your mind. The Edmonton Oilers, you know what? That Connor Garland, he cheap shot at him, right? Pull out the old slap shot, right? Yeah, we got a lot of losses. Get everybody fired up. Like it's sports. It's supposed to be fun. Add a little emotion to it. Got to be way better. Both those guys were playing. So, in Myers and McDavid, but alas, they are not. And away we go. So, but I'm hoping, you know what? That doesn't mean the game can't. Every now and then there's going to be those games that have a little extra juice, right? Like neither team has a real heavyweight that you're like, okay, this guy's on the ice. No one can touch him. Right now, I don't expect Desharnais and Nurse to fight, but in theory, if they wanted to, you know, you would go. It's not like there's a Reeves in the lineup for either team where he's, you know, like there's not many guys in Vancouver that are going to fight Darnell Nurse. And, you know, there's not many Edmonton Oilers that are going to fight Desharnais. We get it, right? But so sometimes those games, you can have the other guys who just, maybe there's a big hit. Podkolzin run over somebody, right? Troy Stetcher, but Emberson. He's been physical this year. He's had a few big hits. Why not? Right? Corey Perry's never shy from trying to stir the pot. He knows how to do it. Right? Kiefer Sherwood in Vancouver. He can do it. He'll run around. Leads the NHL in hits by a mile. Physical player. So you could have some juice in the game. And I'll tell you right now, the crowd would love it. They would love it. You're going to that game tonight. Heck, you're watching the game. You want to see it. You always want a little fiery passion every now and then get you in the game, right? You're sitting at home, all of a sudden, oh my God, what is going on here? I'm getting really intense watching the game. It'd be awesome. So who knows? Just whatever you do, if you go to the game tonight, don't be a less than intelligent fan and throw nachos on the ice. All right. It wasn't funny. It was simply stupid. And do you know that actually the home team can get penalized? Now, I know the rule book is basically a guideline for the NHL. You have rules, but they don't really like to enforce them. Hooking, wow, geez, we don't want to call it all the time. Is that what it says in the rule book? Like, does the rule book state, okay, this is what hooking is, but not all the time? They should just have an ellipsis and then, but not all the time. It would be great. Hey, boys, if Stetcher scraps Scarlett would make a pretty cool game and great rivalry. 100%. Right? Hey, Ethan Bear fought Kachuk. Right? That was when, you know, and then Smith and Talbot. Right? You had Kachuk and Cassian. Like, there are ways to get, and it all started with a hit. Right? Because the Flames Oilers rivalry for a long time was pretty quiet. Let's be honest. Now, at least the Oilers and the Canucks have met in the playoffs here recently. There is some natural animosity there. Not to mention that it is funny. If I talk to Oiler fans, they seem to be more annoyed by Canuck fans than anyone else. And I've talked to a few Canuck fans, and the feeling's mutual. Great. So it would be, wouldn't it be fun just to get a January game? And you know what? There's some big hits early, and then there's a few scrums, and then the whole game, it builds. It'd be awesome. Doesn't happen very much, but God, it would be great. Dare to dream. I can dream on a Thursday, can't I? It would be nice to see. So who knows? Connor Halley is here with us today. Con man, how you doing?
Jason, doing very good. Thank you. How about yourself?
Good. Very good. If we had to go to playalberta.ca, is it like a 5% chance that there's any sort of like high intensity? I'm not calling it a fight. I'm just talking like high intensity. People get fired up and you're just like, that was a fun game.
I'd say it's very odd. The odds would be very good, very high that this was going to be one of those.
It's going to be a fiery game?
I think so. I mean, I think that the Edmonton Oilers kind of frustrated the way that went down. I'm not saying they're going to go out of the way to go after Connor Garland for a hold, right? Like, I don't think it was a vicious play. Tyler Myers obviously not going to be in the lineup. What he did was far worse. He's going to serve that 3-game suspension. But I think the Edmonton Oilers, like, they're right in striking distance of the division. They need to find a way to ratchet it up a little bit. Losing 2 straight, you don't want to make it 3. So why not make it a bit of a physical game, get the emotion into it? You got a check or an opportunity to finish your check on Garland. Of course you're going to do it. But I think that should be kind of the model, the intensity for every single player on that Canucks roster. You see JT Miller, you finish your check. Pettersson, exact same thing. Like every player on that team, get the crowd into it, make it a spirited affair. I don't want a snoozer tonight. I want to see the high intensity from this Oilers team.
Well, I hope you're right. It'd be fantastic. So, I look at it. I hope you're right. God, I really hope you're right. It'd just be fun, right? It'd be fun. You send anybody who's been in the building when there are those type of games, like it ratchets up. You can sense the energy in the building, and it makes it more fun. And that's what sports is supposed to be. It's supposed to invoke emotion from you. Every now and then, you're supposed to be fired up. You're like, what? I got to go for a walk, right? It's intermission. I got to calm down, right? That's what the playoffs do. And I know you can't do that every regular season game, but it would sure be nice, like 10, 12, 15 games a year in the regular season. Can do it. It would be great. Hey, guys, the conversation while grappling between Draisaitl and Garland might mean different. Could be fun to watch from Gordo. Well, I don't think. Now, Leon Draisaitl might say something, sure, but I don't think Draisaitl is going to go after Garland. You don't want your best player going after Garland. That would make little sense to me. So, there's lots of other guys who can do it. So,
do we ever really see Leon Draisaitl fight?
Oh no, he's never dropped it. No, he's not a fighter. He's not going to fight Garland. That would be stupid.
He's never, yeah.
And Garland wouldn't Draisaitl is infinitely bigger than him, right? He could just throw him around.
Do you get the feeling he could be a good,
no,
if he was pissed off, he could win a fight?
Not at all.
No?
I don't think he knows how to throw a punch, and that's not a negative. Never done it.
He never had to.
Right. Yeah. So, but who knows? Maybe he's strong, sure. So, at bare minimum, I would think he would know how to, grab the guy. But even then, some guys, I've never even seen Draisaitl get close. Like McDavid's been close a few times. He obviously did fight in junior once, right? We've seen Nugent-Hopkins drop the mitts a few times. Draisaitl, I don't think has any interest, and that's fine. Lots of guys who don't. There's many other guys who can do it. Hey, Gregor, a Canuck fan tweeted this: Oiler fans will never be able to win on the internet against Canuck fans because Canuck fans hate the Canucks more than they do. From Doug. Yeah, well, they got a lot of frustration with their organization right now. I can see that for sure. Hey, Gregor, Vancouver is drama prone, but the Oilers in their silly public statement regarding Connor's suspension was pathetic. Many of the other markets are poking fun at their own because of it. This isn't grade 8 school sports. No statement was needed. It was cross-check to the head, not the end of the world. All I'm saying is Edmonton was pretty front and center of the drama around this ordeal. Bruce Grove, Joe. Well, Joe, I would agree with you on one thing. The statement was awful. And I can tell you for a fact, there are people in the organization like, we don't want this. This was not a decision that everyone agreed with. Trust me. It was, I don't even know the purpose of it. They want the fans to know they're on the same page. No, they don't. The fans don't need that. The fans are like, this is dumb. Most fans are like, what? Now, if you were to come out like guns a-blazing with this statement, like, this is a joke, take a fine, then you probably would have garnered some respect from people in the fans. But, oh, yeah, we disagree with it. Thanks. Like, hey, that's like me releasing a statement. Hey, I'd just like to say that, you know what? I'm really disappointed. I'm never going to be able to grow a full head of hair again. It's disappointing. Thanks. Oh, thanks, Captain Obvious. Like, what? Ridiculous. Foolish. It was about this time last year that I was nearing the end of that awful run of growing out my hair. Right now, I knew going in how it was going to look. It wasn't going to be pretty. It would be like releasing a statement at the end of that. Like, give me a break. It was honestly, it made me chuckle when I saw it. It made me laugh because it just was not. It was not great at all. Hey, Gregor, can you explain your tweet today about Skinner and Pickard? From John. Well, I don't know, John's pretty simple to explain. The Oilers, Stuart Skinner hasn't started 4 games in a row all year long. That's their plan. They haven't done it. So tonight, Calvin Pickard playing is based on their season-long plan. That Stuart Skinner, for whatever reason, I don't know the exact, and I can ask about it, but actions speak louder than words. And it's pretty obvious that the Oilers have a plan. And, it probably involves some numbers and science and lots of different things. But Stuart Skinner hasn't started 4 games in a row yet this season. Now, that's not, oh my God, crazy. Aiden Hill in Vegas hasn't done it. Demko hasn't done it. Wolf did it once in Calgary where he had a 4-gamer. Ottinger's done it once in Dallas. Now, Hellebuck's done it multiple times. Right? Winnipeg, hey, they play him the most. He plays the most games. That's fine. Hasn't helped him yet in the playoffs. We'll see. But not a lot of other teams are playing their goalie for extended starts in the regular season. So that's just their plan. Now, if Calvert Picker got banged up, do I think Skinner would do a 4 or 5 gamer? 100%. Right? Lankinen did it in Vancouver when they had all the goaltending injuries. It's not uncommon. Earlier, I remember Fleury was a little nicked up. Gustafsson did it a few times. So it'll happen. But like Dallas with Ottinger, they've only done it once. So I don't think it's a huge deal. But that's their plan. And, it is interesting that then you get to the playoffs and you have a goalie that you're going to start every game. Now, it's every second day. There's no back-to-backs. The travel, everything's the same between teams. But it is kind of interesting that teams don't play guys like 5 games in a row, even. Never mind. I just used 3 because that's the number he's done. The goalies to have played 5 in a row. Hellebuck did it once. Gustafsson's done it once. Ottinger's done it once. That's it. Of all the Western Conference playoff-bound teams. Once. So not even a 6-game in a row. Although Ottinger did do that early in the year. Right? Like most series, 5, 6, 7 games. So they do it, I guess, to rest, and that's fine. Now, keep in mind that Stuart Skinner, from last year to this year, Stuart Skinner has started 89 games, which puts him, I think, let me double check. It is 5th in the NHL. Gordiev and Bobrovsky are at 90, so 1 more. Hellebuck's at 98, and UC Saros and Nashville's at 100. Skinner, from the start last year till right now, has started more games than Vasilevsky, 1 more than Vasilevsky, 1 more than Binnington, 1 more than Shesterkin, 1 more than Ottinger. So he's playing more than enough, Order fans. You don't need to freak, oh yeah, they hate Skinner, he's not playing tonight. No. You have to look deeper. This is their plan. They don't have him starting more than 3 in a row. And it doesn't matter who the opposition is. And it doesn't matter how spread out the 3 games are in a row. That's their plan right now. Now, maybe he gets a 4-gamer, but I'm not sure they would change it. So they've got a lot of stuff that's pretty much kind of mapped out for their team and the starts for their goaltenders. So that's how it goes with Stuart Skinner. Coming up on the program today, Eddie Steele will join us. We're talking hockey, wrestling, football, all combined in one. Patrick Johnson will give us the Canucks side of things coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. We got TR, Mean Gene, not Oberlin, although that'd be great, but Mean Gene Principe will be by. We got Spec, Ken Reed. We'll also talk to Livingston. We'll hear from Chris Knobloch, a few others. Lineup changes for the Oilers. It's going to be the same 18 skaters, but it looks like Skinner, that's Jeff, and Corey Perry have swapped lines from where they started last game. Now, if you remember, Perry ended up playing in the top 6 in the 3rd period. So they're going to start with Skinner with Kapanen and Philp. You will have Nugent-Hopkins with Janmark and Brown, Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Arvidsson, and Henrique, Perry, and Hyman. Those will be the lines tonight, at least to start. We all know that they can be intertwined very quickly. The other difference on the other side for the Canucks, they usually play Hughes and Roenick together, but since Tyler Myers' suspension against Buffalo, Roenick and Hughes only played 6 minutes, and it looks like Hughes and Friedman are going to be a pair. I'm sure we will see some Hughes and Roenick tonight, but just not exclusively like they usually play. So that's the change for the lineup for the Vancouver Canucks, and we'll return on the Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like jobs for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy. Call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tanks. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients. Better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients. Better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
Elevate your game with the Basketball Show, hosted by me, Paul Sir. Tune in Saturday mornings at 10 for expert insights, exclusive interviews, and the latest hoops action. It happens right here on Sports 1440.
Is it Riverside Motorsports? No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong. Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
It's a new year, and the Brick is clearing out their old inventory. They're blowing out furniture for up to 60% off the original price, with in-stock items ready to go and additional unadvertised discounts. Check out your nearest Brick location to save up to $1,300 off sofas, up to 25% off bedroom and dining, and up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, more deals in every department. It's a new year, and the Brick is clearing out their old inventory. Exclusions apply. The Brick, saving you more.
Cold, icy mornings, frozen windshield, snow in the forecast, and your vehicle won't start. You know what that means, Alberta. Winter is here. Don't get left out of the cold. Head to Napa Auto Parts today to gear up for the frosty months ahead. Winter won't wait, and neither should you. From premium batteries, starters, and alternators to high-quality wiper blades, antifreeze, and snow brushes, Napa Auto Parts has everything you need to get your vehicle winter ready and running. With over 85 locations in Alberta, stop into your local Napa store or visit NapaCanada.com for all your trusted parts, tools, equipment, and automotive needs. That's Napa know-how.
A bedtime story by Zachary Martin Hyman.
The hockey game's over. The Zamboni sleeps soon. I lay down in comfort, Legacy heating my room. Good night to you, furnace, with your hot blower running. Good night to you, air vents, keeping the warm air coming. Good night to my payments that I won't see for 1 year. Good night to my Legacy. Bedtime is near.
Warm winter nights. That's how you soothe your Legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$2:24 Thursday afternoon, game day in Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, and Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Thanks for watching and listening to the show. Oilers taking on the Vancouver Canucks tonight. Both teams looking to recover from 3-2 losses on Tuesday. Oilers lose to Washington despite outshooting them heavily. Canucks blow a 2-1 lead in the third and lose to the lowly Buffalo Sabres. No lineup changes roster-wise for the Oilers up front, at least for their skaters. A few line jugglings as Perry and Jeff Skinner are going to switch. Defense are the same. And Calvin Pickard will get the start and goal tonight for the Oilers, going up against Thatcher Demko of the Vancouver Canucks, as it's time to go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. And hey, they can always give you great insight on savings and solar and everything else. But also right now they're doing a very unique thing is they're helping build homes in El Salvador. There'll be a leaving coming up on this weekend. And, they send people over there and they spend quite a few weeks spending time helping build these small modular homes, which is a huge difference maker for people in a very poor part of the world. And if you want to help out, because they can always help in some funds, you can go to shelterhelps.com/action electrical. As Eddie Steele, of course, Monday, Fridays here on Sports 1440. And tomorrow night, making, I think it's his wrestling debut down at the Oil Kings games. Eddie, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Greg. The only thing I've ever wrestled in the past is pigs, man.
Nice.
And by pigs, I mean those old linemen.
Yeah, exactly. Now you naturally should be good at the grappling part of wrestling. What about what about the move? Like, are we seeing, do you have any wrestlers you want to emulate? You got any moves? Have you been practicing on the couch? What's going on?
Oh, yeah, man. I haven't been just practicing on the couch. I've been body slamming my kids around the house left and right. So I'm well equipped. I would say my go-to move is probably going to be from the top ropes. I'm going to do a suplex.
Ooh, nice. All right. Now, I know Connor and Declan and a few of the gang from Sports 1440 are coming down. Your family, lots of people will be watching. Do you know who are you wrestling? I don't even know.
I don't have any idea, to be honest. We have them on the program tomorrow morning with Duke on the morning show. So we're going to get into it. Kevin really wants me to get after Thaddeus, his arch nemesis. So we'll see who they got on the docket for me.
All right. Okay. Now, were you a wrestling fan growing up?
Oh, yeah, Greg's for sure. I grew up in the era, early 2000s, late 90s. The Rock was obviously a big player. Stone Cold, D-Generation X, Shawn Michaels, all those cats. That's what I grew up on, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, I was Stampede Wrestling and then, got away from it for a bit. Then, there was obviously the Ultimate Warrior. He was my guy. I was a huge Ultimate Warrior fan. Also Axe and Smash from Tag Team in high school. I was big into Demolition. They were great. And I always liked Jimmy Superfly Snuka just because of his distance he could make off the top rope.
I was thinking you're familiar with Rikishi?
Oh.
I was thinking maybe I pulled that out for the finisher.
Oh, my God. That would be awesome. Yeah, because we had, we talked about it on the show yesterday, and our listeners had a few funny names. The steel curtain is the finishing, because clearly if you're going to be a good wrestler, you got to have a finishing move, right? Like you got to have one.
You need it. You need it. And you got to have your signature entrance walkout, too. And I'm telling you, Greg, I've been practicing it all, man. Those who are coming out to watch, you will not leave unentertained.
Ooh, so do you have like a walkout song?
I'm saving it. I'm not gonna say,
but you have one that's coming.
I got one that's coming. Ooh. If I'm allowed to do this intro the way I'd like to.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, talk to Radomski. He's pretty open to anything. So you know what? Why not? Because now, do you plan on entering as like a heel or a fan favorite?
Well, I mean, you know me, Greg. If I had it my way, I would be the heel all the time. I don't mind stirring it up. Somebody's got to do that role, and I have no issue being that guy, man. I thought for a sec we might even get a studio clash, maybe the rematch, me versus you, like our battle back in the spring or in the fall.
Ooh, well, you know what, buddy? I'm unfortunately out of town because I was actually quite disappointed. Now, the only thing I'm happy about is because I keep hearing rumors about the attire. And we're like, people have told me the purple Borat and stuff. Like, please tell me that's not true.
No, it's not true.
Okay,
it's not
good.
true. I don't have a one piece.
Okay, good.
TBD. I don't know for sure exactly. On the attire.
You're going topless. You're going shirtless, aren't you?
Guns out. I'm going to make sure everybody got to make sure they got their tickets because that gun show ain't for free.
Eddie's going to be shirtless and all his fake tattoos will be front and center.
They'll all be running off. I'll get sweaty and it'll drip.
Now, hey, you played. Now, I know that football and hockey are different in some elements, but Certain games they matter more than others. And, now football, there's lots of collisions all the time. But like there's certain games where you're just like, we need somebody to fire it up here. Like not much is going on here. So, maybe it's a D lineman. You're like, I'm just going to get into it with no lineman here to try to get some emotion going. And I know today's NHL, is the Oilers aren't they're not scared by any stretch. I don't ever see anybody push them out of the rink. They don't deliver a lot of hits. That's kind of their style in the regular season. But every now and then there's got to be even though Garland did nothing wrong, he could have got a holding penalty at most, right? He didn't stick a guy, didn't cross-check anybody. I don't know. I just think there should be something there. You ever played a game where whether you did it or you had a good teammate, it was like, God, this guy was really good at just stirring it up to get the whole team going.
Absolutely, Greg. And it does get the team going. You get that emotion because the reality is sometimes in games, you're flat. You don't have that type of energy you want to be playing with. And seeing these types of interactions really get you going. I remember there was one time specifically back in my early days in Hamilton, especially when I was younger in the league and I was a lot more dumb in terms of my youngness. So, yeah, I could feel that we weren't out there playing up to our standard that we had practiced at and that we had expected for a defensive line. So I went and I smashed a quarterback late, actually didn't get a penalty for it, but afterwards kind of laying on top of him. And whenever you hit a quarterback, the O-linemen are always going to try and push you off. Right. But I wasn't getting up as easily, kind of laying there extra. And it did cause quite a skirmish. And lo and behold, once guys get that energy and start pushing each other around, the scrum, guys do get fired up and guys want to get into those scrums because you're out there having your brother's back. Now, I actually posed this question because we had our dinner 2 nights ago with Richie DeClude, who won the auction for the month of giving last year. So we were all out together, Laddie, me, Kevin, and Schlemmer with all their boys. And I asked Laddie and Schlemmer, what's going on here, fellas? Kind of posed the question in terms of what you said, favoritism with the superstars in other leagues, as well as should we expect some retaliation? And both of them, kind of were on the fence in terms of the favoritism. But the reality is we need to see more done and we need to see the stars protected better. And yes, there needs to be something done in terms of when you're flatlining to do something to pick up that energy. And I fully expect someone to go and lay a big lick on Connor Garland tonight.
Yeah, I don't want favoritism. I just want the rule book enforced. And the thing is, your best players have the puck more, and most penalties occur on the puck carrier. That's just, you're trying to stop them. So that to me is, I don't want them to say, if somebody gets touched, that's an automatic penalty because he's a good player. I don't want that. I just want them, is that another hooking call? If it's the 4th hooking call of the game, then it's the 4th hooking call of the game against one team and the other team has none. I don't care. I really you shouldn't punish teams who have better players. Well, geez, you guys got better players. We can't call as many penalties against you. That's the part that irks me. I just don't get it.
I'm with you. And maybe I chose the bad word in terms of favoritism, but you do need to protect the stars because the reality is, like it or not, the spade is a spade. There are 95% Connor McDavid jerseys in the stands compared to other people. And you need to protect just no different than Patty Mahomes, no different than LeBron. You may not like it if you're on the opposing side, but these guys get a little bit different treatment. And you know what? They're the breadwinners of the league. They're the breadwinners of the sport. If you're going to roll them out doing the media, if you're going to roll them out doing these series, these docu-series, being the face of the league, well, you need to protect them to the highest standard.
Eddie Steele joins us. Eddie, lots of guys talk about a white button-down shirt, bow tie, no sleeves, Elks pants, all business. Eddie the Iron Curtain Steele.
Ooh, I like that. And I get those Elks pants, and I would cut them real short so the thighs are out, baby.
Well, I thought that, and I know that you would probably wear one of the DB's jerseys, right? Just right? Super tight.
Or I should get a helmet and just have a helmet kind of busted up and have pieces of the helmet just attached to my head and just be a total cyclops.
Now, are you planning, do you have any of your former teammates as your entourage to escort you to the ring? Do you have a gym? Do you have a manager?
No, I thought Duke was going to be my manager. I could totally have seen Duke, the producer, in like a nice handler role. We could have even been a nice duel where he's walking out with maybe a tattered, torn up dress suit, and he's got me on a leash or something, and I'm just some crazed animal that he can't control. I could totally see that out of Duke.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think the Duke of Delborn was a little nervous, but maybe next year he'll make an appearance, because I think the only thing, though, he really likes his he really likes to wear the overalls and then take one strap off. It's a terrible look, but that's his thing. That's his Cook County go-to. I don't know if you knew that or not.
He likes that one nip out, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that, because sadly I've seen pictures, so it's not it's a rare look, but he tries to pull it off. I'm not sure he's successful, but he does it all the time. So tomorrow night, tonight you can watch the Oilers and Canucks. Tomorrow night down at the Edmonton Oil Kings taking on Moose Jaw Warriors. It's also wrestling night, and we'll see Eddie Steele performing in the ring. Good luck, and we look forward to see. I'm looking forward to the videos.
Oh, it'll be good, man. At the end of the day, I just hope I don't break my back.
True that. Thanks, Eddie.
All right, boys, take care.
Oh, there you go. That's Eddie Steele. Now, do you want to go? We got a 4-pack of tickets to give away for tomorrow night's game. And also it's a wrestling night. Con Man and Declan, all the young gang are going there. They're all fired up. Cons, do you have like you're not going like wrestling face paint, are you?
No. I thought about it. I kind of joked. I'm taking the kids, me and all the young guys going out for this one. Kate and Liam and Declan.
Oh, is this going to be Benny's first sporting event?
Well, I meant the work kids.
Oh, no, the work kids.
Benny.
Oh, I was going to say, geez, you're bringing Benny out there. It's
pretty
risky.
A little soon to bring him to one of those, especially a wrestling event.
Yeah,
might be a little bit tough. Although I'm sure he'd fit right in. Get him the Ultimate Warrior face paint. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. 6 matches going on. They got some before, during the intermissions. And I'm going to try to get as close as possible to
Do you know
good footage.
When's Eddie fighting? Is it intermission?
I haven't been told.
Oh.
I got to think, you know what? Maybe he has to fight multiple fights.
Oh, got to work his way up.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
The
marathon like a little
match.
tournament.
Yeah, he takes on
fantastic.
everyone.
I don't know. I don't know if he's got the cardio anymore, man. You get in there for a minute, all of a sudden. So if you want to go, 833-401-1440, 833-401-40. All we got today, we did trivia yesterday. Today, just very simple. Just text in your name and put in Oil Kings, and you'll be entered in the draw for a 4-pack of tickets to see tomorrow night's Oil Kings game and wrestling night down at Rogers Place. We'll return. We'll get more on the Oilers. We got some comments coming out of the room, and much more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients. Better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients. Better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta, new players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Need a solid foundation without the fuss? Richard and Kalina at DCL Pile Driving have your back. Locally owned, they offer straight, driven piles. No screwing around. Serving all of Alberta, DCL Pile Driving gets your foundation ready in hours with minimal ground disturbance. Perfect for tight spaces, whether it's for a deck, grain bins, or RTMs. Tell them the radio sent you and receive a special discounted rate. Call or text 587-322-PILE. DCL Pile Driving. Don't get screwed. Get piles driven.
Could your school, charity, or community group use financial support with a capital project? Maybe Vision Credit Union can lend a helping hand. Vision proudly offers helping hand grants of up to $10,000 to qualifying organizations for capital projects that benefit our branch communities. Apply by January 31st, 2025 for a chance to qualify. Helping Hand grants up to $10,000 from Vision Credit Union. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Papa John's would like to say thanks to their pizza-loving customers. Take 40% off any pizza this week using code TY40 at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$42. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday afternoon. Big plans for the weekend. You got NFL conference finals, Chiefs and Bills, Eagles and the Commanders. We'll see. I think the Chiefs and the Eagles, last I checked, are the two favorites, which I don't think should be a surprise to anyone. Bills, Bills are a slight underdog. It's not massive, but Commanders are a big underdog at home, straight up. And then the spread is 6. Spread's only a point. What is it? Point and a half last I checked, Cons, for Dallas and KC. So it's pretty close to a pick'em game. Point and a half, I guess they're thinking, hey, it might be 28-27, 21-20. But that is pretty close. The line right now at playalberta.ca, 47.5 for both games. Oof. I like the Commanders Eagles over for sure. I think there'll be some fireworks in that game for certain. Eagles can score. The Commanders are going to have to score if they want to keep pace. So, hey, Gregor, is it true that Hyman's getting his bubble off tonight? Oh man, Zach Hyman. It was like he was a kid at Christmas today when I saw him. He's so excited to get the bubble off. He says it's just hot. You feel hotter. He feels it's hard to breathe. His beak has healed up pretty well, and he was very excited to have the bubble off. So if you're thinking of Zach Hyman goal tonight, might not be a bad pick, because he talked about where he found it hard was with the full bubble. You're just, when you look down, like if you're skating up the ice and you're stick handling puck, that's no problem. And for him, a lot of his game is right in tight. That's where he noticed it at times. He felt like, just get a few blind spots every now and then. Not a lot, and just not used to it. So, you adapt. Obviously, he had a pretty good run with it on, especially early on. But he will. He was very excited. Very excited. So, Cons, we get a winner for the Oil Kings tickets?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Louis.
Louis.
That
matching the name of their it's Louis the mascot, is it not?
Yeah.
Oh, Louis for Louis. All right, Louis.
Meant to be, I'd say.
Oh, there you go. Meant to be. I like it. We are going to get in the room here in a second for the order. Actually, we'll get to we'll hear some comments from the coaches in a little bit, but we got a lot of texts coming in. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, any update on Regula? Well, today at practice, now it was an optional skate, but Regula was out there with Klingberg And Regula was actually out early by himself. So I still haven't seen him skate in a full practice yet with the Oilers, but he was out there alone by himself, getting around through the paces. Then he stayed on. It was an optional skate. You had Nurse, who does most of the optionals. Bouchard was out there today. Emerson and Stetcher on the back end. Up front, Pod Colson, who normally skates. There's a few others. Jeff Skinner was out there for the optional. Noah Philp, of course. So those are the guys out there. And then you had Klingberg and Regula and McDavid. Now, McDavid kind of came out a little bit late for the optional, but then he stayed out. And there was a group of kids who were there, and they were watching practice. And as I was walking by, I'm like, you guys are pretty lucky. You get a little extra time at McDavid. And so what was unique to watch was McDavid, they go through some set drills. Stuart Skinner was out there late because Pickard's starting tonight. And Klingberg and McDavid were working around in lots of different areas. Just, I see them talking. So in a weird way, the one small benefit here is Klingberg is just, when you talk about new players, and it's more for forwards, right? You get to a guy, hey, where does he like the puck? Right. And so trust me, because the best players, if they know that Bob likes it just a little bit in front of him on this side and Peter likes it a little bit to the side, they'll put it there. Right. Because that's how good they are. And I was just watching McDavid and Klingberg. They're doing some give and goes and some shooting one-timer drills in the offensive zone in motion. And, Klingberg, now it's practice. I want to clarify that it's practice. There's no physical contact. But Klingberg's mobility in practice, when I've seen him, looks pretty good. Now I have to see it in the game before I'm like, all right. But he's looking pretty good. And you know what? Will we see Klingberg's debut in the same return game for McDavid? We'll see. We shall see. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Also, we'll do the draw for the Canucks tickets because I had a few people asking. So we're going to have 4 people at $100. You go in the draw, you get a pair of seats for tonight's game. 833-401-1440. If you want to go, it's a $100 donation. We'll only take 4 of them. And then somebody's going to win pair of seats, lower bowl to go to the game tonight. It's a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. Make a donation. And it's the worst case scenario. And best case scenario is you win and you get to go to the game for 100 bones. Pretty nice. 833-401-1440. Just text in your name and just put in $100 so we know that's what you're texting about. A few other ones coming in. Hey, Gregor, looking at the Oilers' salary cap situation, does anybody really know if Evander Kane's going to play or not? I wouldn't say with certainty, Mike. No. The hope is that he could be ready for the playoffs. Now, is that the start of the playoffs? Is that in round 2? I don't know. And his effectiveness at this point is uncertain. Now, I know the style of player Kane is. So if Kane comes back to the lineup, I would expect him to be physical. He's always been physical. Pretty decent skater. Got a good shot. But how's his timing? Right? When you haven't played that long, is he going to be able to finish off plays that he normally would? That I don't know. Odds would tell you maybe not right away. And that's why I've said all along, if they're planning a playoff roster with Kane, to me, he's in your bottom 6. And if he all of a sudden, gets hot and can come back and play great, well, that's a bonus, and then you can move him up. Because historically, he's been a better finisher than Pod Colson. There's no doubt about that. But if he's not ready, then I don't think you're going to force him up there just because of what he did in the past. Because the past is irrelevant to the present right now when you get to the playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. But he will, the plan is for him to return in the playoffs. How well is he going to play? I have no idea. I can't say it. So let's get to the oil report now, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. 13-time Excellence Award winner in sales and service. Not only to get great car, great vehicle, the XC90 plug-in hybrid. You can get one right now for 1.99% financing, but you also get unbelievable service. That's why if you get a Volvo, you usually come back because they treat you great. Not only the deal you get, but the long-time service. And Evan Bouchard just talked about, him and Ekholm, maybe they got to be, finishing off a little bit more offensively.
I think the confidence we have in each other. When he gets a shot, it's it's a good chance it goes in. He picks the corners really well. I think just the more confidence we have in each other really helps us, put each other in good spots and put in the net.
And does he feel the Oilers can match the physicality of the opposition on most nights?
Yeah, I think if we have to, we can. I think we've shown we can win in a lot of different ways. Winning different ways is going to be big come playoff time. So we have to go run around and hit. It's not necessarily our style. We can do it, but we want to stick to our game plan, keeping things fast and going from there.
And Chris Knobloch talked about that because I want to get his thoughts on his team's ability to play physical and when it's necessary.
Yeah, I think we're, we don't get pushed around. I know the hit totals were always on the negative side, but I don't know. I think we're just a more veteran group. I don't think we go out of our way to finish checks. Part of that good defensive hockey that we play, our chances that we give up are one of the best in the league, if not the best. And a lot of that has to do with us not running around, getting out of position to finish checks. And, there's pros and cons of playing that physical style. But giving up chances is one of the pros of it. That is a strength of ours. But, for other teams wanting to be physical against us and wanting to hit, we have absolutely no issues with that. There's certainly no players that are afraid of that. And, it's just part of the game.
It's interesting. I agree with him that if they have, that's not their style, so they don't do it. They don't run around. They play pretty sound defense. The numbers back it up. We do know that come playoff time, everybody ratchets it up. It's just, it doesn't matter what team you play on. It's a more physical style. Now, I believe it does help some guys who are more naturally inclined to want to hit. They know how to hit. They know when to hit without being, having to run and get out of position because it's a skill set. There are people who know how to deliver a body check and know how to deliver it effectively, timely, and not get out of position. So I've said it all season long. I think it's an element that you don't have to go out there and like Kiefer Sherwood's, leading the league by a significant margin. You don't have to get him per se, but you need somebody who just, like I've said it, if they're willing to move him, I would look at a guy like Trent Frederick. Now, he's more than just a physical player, right? He's got some skill, and that's what I want, a skill guy for sure. But you get a skill guy who's physical, man, that is a big, big advantage. Huge advantage. So we'll see how it goes. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. A few other quick comments out of the Oilers room. Connor Brown talked about just, when McDavid's out, there's not one person that does it. The power play, some guys, Arvidsson gets on there. They switch different roles. Draisaitl was entering the zone last time as the puck carrier. There's lots of different roles around 5-on-5. Suddenly there's maybe more urgency. Some other guys like, hey, we got to go. Connor Brown talked about the process of figuring out your expanded role when McDavid's out.
I think, when you have a player of that caliber, it's not like he comes out of the lineup and somebody steps in for his place. I think it just comes down to our team play. And I think that's what we've done a good job of building. And so for us, tonight and when we're missing him is, just focusing on, how we play as a group and making sure every guy kind of brings their game to the table.
Well, that's and one of those guys who, at some point they're going to need more offensively 5-on-5 from Nugent-Hopkins. Nugent-Hopkins right now, points per 60, he's at 0.98. That is the lowest of his career. His lowest season long was in 2013 when he had 1.12 points per 60. Not great. That was the year he only scored 4 goals, right? It was the shortened season. He played 40 out of the 48 games. Now it's his second season young player, but that's his lowest. Here he is now, and he still played over 65% of his minutes with McDavid or Draisaitl. And if you look, he's played 613 minutes of 5-on-5. He's played 349 of that with McDavid. Now he's only played actually 30 minutes with Draisaitl. He's played 349 with McDavid. So if you look at, and he's got 8 points in that time span, he has a total of 2 points away from McDavid 5-on-5. It's in 230 minutes, man. It's not good enough. They need him. Other guys can contribute away from McDavid. He's got to find a way to get involved offensively. Now, I know points aren't everything, but they're a pretty big part of the game. And they need more from 93 5-on-5. No question in my mind. Let's get to Connor Halley. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring. If you're looking for a great job with wonderful benefits, also RRSP matching, they will have tuition reimbursement, of course, competitive wages, and even a bonus for the right candidates, a starting bonus. Go to Legacy Heating. Find out more. Here's Connor Halley.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. The Edmonton Oilers hosting the Vancouver Canucks down at the Ice District. Puck drop in this one set for 7 o'clock. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson gets going at 6 o'clock right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere on the NHL, you got the Canadiens taking on the Red Wings. Bruins host the Sens, Flyers, and Rangers. Canes up against the Jackets. Vegas heading to St. Louis, Wild hosting the HC. The Penguins in Anaheim, and the Kraken taking on the Washington Capitals. So the Maple Leafs have recalled the goaltender Matt Murray from the AHL. Team also sent Dennis Hildeby back to the Marlies after he led 4 goals and 18 shots in yesterday's 5-1 loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. In the association, we had action in Paris. Victor Wembanyama, 30 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists as the Spurs knocked off the Pacers 140-110. Tonight, you have the Raptors in Atlanta. Magic host the Blazers. Mavs taking on the Thunder. Nuggets up against the Kings and the Bulls, battling the Warriors. Bayern Munich star Alphonso Davies suffered a muscle strain in his left hamstring during Wednesday's Champions League game. Davies left a 3-0 loss late in the first half with the injury. He missed 2 games in December with a torn muscle fiber as well. Coming up in hour number 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Patrick Johnson, talk some Vancouver Canucks, and we'll speed things up in the Cantor Racing Report with Colin Livingston. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the only place to call for heating your home. So when it's time to replace your old furnace, call Legacy. Or for 24-hour repair with no overtime rates. Legacy even heats your shower with hot water tanks. Call Legacy. And with no interest and no payments for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports20.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Vimy and Donnan Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, attend the Donnan Open House on January 23rd from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Beginner or experienced, this program nurtures and develops a student athlete's skills in a supportive environment. The Donnan Open House is a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 6 to see what Donnan Hockey and all the other sport academies at Donnan have to offer. Visit donnan.epsb.ca for more info.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. eWell.ca is your power play partner with a new website that puts the power in your hands with 24/7 ordering and shipping within Edmonton and across Alberta. Score an account today at ewell.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, welcome back. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely day. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Sports 1440 is always presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50, and you'll get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. And hey, they still like the Oilers tonight. Oilers the home favorite tonight against the Vancouver Canucks. Fairly healthy margin, too. In fact, also the Daily Grand, where you can win $1,000 a day for 20 years, which you do the math is $7.2 million. Not bad at all at PlayAlberta.ca. A lot of texts, a few emails. You can always email us at Gregor at sports1440.ca. Those who love the email, maybe sometimes you get a little bit more, a few longer ones, which is great. I do find that same with me. Like if I do ever have to send something long, I'll always email it rather than text it. I don't know why. I just prefer it. I think because I can type way faster on my desktop than I can on my phone. That's just, it's a no-brainer for me. So we have a few of those. Get to some of them. Hey, Gregor, just wanted to email you in regards to your conversation yesterday with Rich and Matt on love and sports and just, how you can implement it at a minor hockey level. I have to say, as a coach for many years, a lot of the things you guys brought up, I'd never even really thought of. And I spent all night thinking about how I can connect to my players. Thanks for giving me a new outlet. I'm always looking to improve as a coach, as that one comes in from Justin. Well, Justin, thanks for that. I appreciate it. You know what? We did get lots of positive comments. So if you missed that, I recommend you get it on the podcast. We also have it up on it's up on YouTube as well if you want to rewatch it again. The Business of Sports yesterday, and we talked about the importance of love and organization from your coach to his players, and real deep seated in why it's important and how you can go about it. And I thought one of the best quotes that we got from Matt surrounding it, because I'd asked him about when you look at it from a coaching perspective. And, how, what are we looking at is it's, for you as a coach, the quote was, what is the part of me that is getting in the way of being more connected to my players? What is getting in the way of me not communicating as well with my players? And that's what Matt Demozek, who of course is a psychologist, told us. And he said, so, because you have a bias somehow, or whether you're treated a certain way or not, and everybody, maybe certain things, you're like, hey, you know what? I really like the kids that are grinders, and geez, I got a skilled kid over here, but he doesn't give me everything he has every shift. And so maybe that you don't like or what have you. Everybody's going to be different, but it was It was very interesting when you start to have to look and say, hey, maybe it's not, am I not communicating well because I got something holding me back? And I think as a coach, you're always, you're looking to improve. I know lots of coaches that doesn't matter. You get one new practice drill, like, oh, great, I haven't tried this one. Let's, and it's a different way to work on, in hockey, for instance, just different passing outlets and to get the players to think. And, the biggest one is you want to get your players in a situation where at the end of the day, they can react well to uncertainty. Because that's really what the game is all about. In a lot of cases, you have a set breakout and you want to break out here in the utopian world. Our wingers here, our centers here, he's cutting deep, we're supporting the puck, everything's great. But then what happens when all of a sudden a pass ricochets off a stick and now it's kind of a broken play? And there's so much of that in hockey. It's how do you react and respond in those moments? So I thought it was really good. I quite enjoyed it. So we'll see. And we do have Andrew, Riley, Tony, and Allie are in for. So we'll do that draw coming up in the next, out of the next segment, because so those guys have time to plan to get to the game tonight. The Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks, and I don't know. I'm holding out hope. So that's my question of the day for you, the audience's listeners. What's your expectations tonight? Are we going to see any kind of fireworks at all? And I want to reiterate, I don't believe someone has to go after Garland. He did not do anything that's egregious that was worthy of a response. Right? We've seen those plays where you're like, hey, so I'm sorry, but eye for an eye? Sure. In this case, what are you going to do? Hold Garland? Hey, I'm going to take a penalty as a holding call, because that's really all he did. And I like what Garland said. He goes, hey, he's one of the best guys in the world. And, he's doing it with that much time left on the clock. You're taking him out of the play. Worst case scenario is you get a penalty called. And he's true, right? He's very valid about it. To me, that's smart gamesmanship, and that's understanding the time on ice. There's 20 seconds, 18 seconds left on the clock. And so now maybe you would have forced Edmonton to just shoot the puck to you and they touch it. But even then, now you got to win a face-off. You got to get it clean. And the Oilers had a 6-on-4 for 2 minutes and didn't score against the Capitals last game. You have a 6-on-4 for 15 seconds. You'll take that all day long if you're Garland. That's just, to me, very good awareness of the clock and kind of what I would call time management cons.
Wouldn't it be funny if the Oilers were up by a goal right at the end of the game and Draisaitl just went and grabbed JT Miller, Pedersen, whoever it might be?
Oh, yeah.
There's your revenge. That's how you get him back. And assuming the refs don't make the penalty call or anything like that. But I'm with you, Gregor. Take the bias aside. That was a great play. That was using the rule book to your advantage. We saw it in the NFL a few years ago. Do you remember the Baltimore Ravens on a punt just held everybody? They won a football game that way. They eliminated the rest of the clock. They just by holding every single player on the team. I thought it was kind of cool gamesmanship. And then Garland, he didn't make me hate him after the game. He's paid respect. Yeah, he's the best player in the world. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to grab him and hold him. So all in all, yeah, I don't think there's any need for vengeance. There's not going to be any revenge. Winning, that's how you do it. Keeping the Vancouver Canucks out of the playoff spots, I think that's the best way you keep revenge and get them where it hurts.
Hey, guys, I know last game without McDavid, they gave Henrique the second set of wingers. For the most part this year, when they load up McDavid and Draisaitl, they've been given 93, the second best set of wingers, with only 2 points away. From 97. Do you think Knobloch will start giving Henrique those second line minutes instead of Nugent-Hopkins? Just not getting enough from RNH this year. From Joey. Well, remember Joey. Now, Nugent-Hopkins was, of course, playing with McDavid when Connor Brown got bumped up to that line. And that's when we saw Henrique play with Hyman. And the coach liked that Henrique-Hyman combination, so that's why he went back to them last night. And to start the game, they're a combo, except Corey Perry was starting. Looks like he's on that line to start tonight anyway. I think it's probably a fair statement to say, hey, you know what? They probably like Henrique with Hyman more than Nugent-Hopkins with Hyman at this point. But as we all know, that can change in the first 20 minutes if something's not going. But I think it's very fair to say they need more from 93 5-on-5. Just flat out. Look, I think he's 16th on their team in 5-on-5 points. 16th. What? Come on. It's not good enough. When you play so much of your time with Connor McDavid Like, I think maybe Zach, I got to look it up for sure, but I think like Zach, outside of forwards, obviously I'm not talking defensemen, but I think Nugent-Hopkins has played the most minutes with McDavid this year, spent the most time, 5-on-5 with them. You got to produce more. It's just that simple. And then you throw in the minutes away from McDavid, and he's got 2 points. That's it. So, Zach Hyman has played the most with McDavid, then Nugent-Hopkins, and then Draisaitl is third. Connor Brown's actually fourth, and then Kapanen, fifth most minutes with McDavid this season amongst forwards, of course. So, Joey, I think it's totally fair to want to ask for more from him. Hey, guys, what Garland did is just a greasy move. It's not a professional hockey play. If McDavid is my teammate, I'd be out to win this game, but if I got a chance to hammer him, I better believe I'd take the opportunity. Well, hey, you know what? You want to clean hit him 100%. Go right at him. But was it a little greasy? Sure. But I'd also say it was smart. Like, it wasn't dirty. Right? Like, he didn't put McDavid in harm's way by any stretch of the imagination. Didn't run him from behind. Wasn't sticking him. Nothing like that. No one at all. Hey, guys, the fans need to bring the energy and help the players on tonight from Doug. Doug, you know what? It's funny. There was talk a few years ago about getting like a start up a fan. There was a group that reached out to start a fan section because I firmly believe it needs to start from fans, not the team. Because I don't believe the team is equipped to know how to do it properly. Right now, this is something that's very European. But anybody who's been to a European hockey game, soccer game, there's chants nonstop, and there are certain sections that if you sit there, that's what you're doing, and people love it. They go there, hey man, we're chanting, we're singing, everybody's having fun. And other people are like, hey, maybe I don't want to do it all the time, but I like the noise. It's getting everybody excited. And they approached him, never went anywhere, and I think that was a miss on behalf of the Edmonton Oilers. I really do. Because this group even had some people who are like professional cheerers, if you want to call it that. And that's what they're there for. And then, some people eventually, they want to sit in that section because like, I want to get there. I want to be excited. Here, they're on their feet lots. So it's likely going to be one of the sections in the second deck. So you don't have the, hey man, I want to watch a game. Sit down. Because that's what people say sometimes. Now, I watched some games, man, in the playoffs. People are standing up the whole time. Right? Because that's just how it is. Most people are standing up. No one can tell, excuse me, sit down. No, it doesn't work. And I look at it would be fantastic to bring more often just a fun atmosphere. And it doesn't have to be based on stand up and cheer for which car is going to win some digital race. Okay? That's never during the play. Get it going in the game, all of us, because it happens sometimes. It definitely happens in the playoffs, no doubt. But it happens the odd time. And I think when it's organic and you can have fans, because here's the thing, what they do, how they built it, because we researched this and looked it up, and how they built it in a lot of these European places, especially now, the internet's a wonderful thing. If you're going to the game and you want to know what some of the chants are, they posted, okay, here's the ones we're going to do tonight. So if you're at the game, you can follow along. And it would start to build. Would it be different than what you're used to? 100% it would be. It would be different. Some staunch person like, no, I don't want it. Great. It's not for you. But I think there's lots of people that would be interested in it. And you start it, and you start it in the second deck. And I know exactly which sections there are. There's 2 sections in the second deck, and I don't know the exact number, but one's basically right below the Garth Brooks banner. And I think it's based on price point, because if you go one section to the left, because it's not right at center, but one section to the left of it, it's full, and this section has some openings. And I went online. I could probably figure it out right now if I grab the chart, which 2 sections I'm thinking about. And because there's one on each side, that's where I start. And it's not something that's an instant success. It's builds. And I believe that more people will want to go to the game if the game is more of an event and fun. Like the game itself, 41 times a year, I'm sorry, you're dreaming if you think the play on the ice is going to be that riveting every home game, and that's enough. to say, wow, I got good bang for my buck. It's just not anymore. Right? Sports is supposed to be fun. Add more elements of enjoyment. Some people want to go there. They want to sit down the whole time in the lower bowl. Great. Knock your socks off. But and by the way, I don't buy for a moment that people who pay big money for tickets don't like to have fun. There's no price point on fun. You know what, man? I make 120 grand a year. I'm above fun. Oh, I only make 50. I'm super fun. It's not always the case. I think you'd have fun sponges who make 30 grand a year, 300 grand a year, 3 million a year. You can have super partiers, fun sponges in all different groups. But it's good. Hey guys, I'd love to see more of a European fan affair in North America. It's outstanding. Stephen was asking, buddy, I'm for you. And it's got to start somewhere. And I really believe it's something the Oilers group should rethink. Honestly, I firmly believe it. And I think that it would pay dividends in the you got to look at long-term investment. Okay? Because you can't now, I know people say, well, Gregor, it's been this way forever and it's never changing. Well, are the Oilers sold out every night? No. So you can get better. They're not sold out every game. So don't tell me there's not room to improve. They were selling out every night, then you could make that argument. But they're not. So I think it's open, in my eyes, for a different opportunity, a different atmosphere, a different environment that'll get people fired up. When we come back, Patrick Johnston will join us. The Canucks, their coach used the word disappointed 3 different times. Yesterday, as the Canucks blew a lead against the lowly Buffalo Sabres, the Canucks just can't seem to get out of their own way this year. What's wrong? We'll find out next on the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Mr. Rooter makes a prank phone call.
It's ringing.
Hello?
Hello there. Is your faucet running?
Yeah, actually it is. I have this really annoying drip.
Oh, you'll want to check for mineral buildup or corrosion. Otherwise, it's likely an defective gasket or O-ring. I got him good.
Mr. Rooter, you're the worst at this.
For lousy punchlines and immaculate water lines, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
90 days? You're telling me I can buy a 2024 or 2025 Buick or GMC from Wolf GMC Buick and make no payments for 90 days? Whoa. And you're telling me there's more? It's the final days of GMC's employee pricing on remaining 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons? Clearly now is the time to buy a new vehicle. I'm heading to Wolf GMC Buick, corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road. It's mere seconds east of the Anthony Henday. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Island Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
When picking a New Year's resolution, try to avoid things you have no influence over.
Like bringing home the cup? That would be awesome.
But completely outside your control. Instead, pick something you can control, like bringing home some Wilhauk beef jerky.
That would also be awesome. But what if we brought the cup home to Canada and it was filled with Wilhauk beef jerky?
Okay, I'll allow it.
Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today, because you don't win cups with salad.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe in the wisdom of Patch Adams. Treat a disease, you win, you lose. Treat a person, I guarantee you'll win no matter what the outcome. We don't treat conditions, we treat people. From personalized treatment plans to compassionate care, we're committed to helping you achieve your goal. That's why hands-on techniques, unique technologies, and a commitment to hiring amazing people mixed with friendly, fun neighborhood environments. And ta-da! No, it's not magic. It's about being human. Sometimes being human hurts, but life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team at Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. I hope you're having a lovely Thursday. It is game day as the Oilers are hosting the Vancouver Canucks. It'll be Calvin Pickard tonight in goal against Thatcher Demko. Pickard gets the start because all season long, Stuart Skinner has never started more than 3 games in a row. Not because I don't think he's capable of it, but they've kind of got a 3-to-1 ratio. Now, there's the odd time we'll go back and forth, and it's not always 3 in a row, but that's the most he started at any point this season. He's kind of on pace. He started 57 games last year. He's on pace to be about 55 this year. That's the number they feel comfortable with, and away they roll. So I think he could have pitched a shutout against Washington, and based on their strategy, because remember, he's had a shutout before and didn't play the next night, that he wasn't going to play. So now quickly, let's do the draw. I want to make sure all the names are in here. Yeah. Okay, all the names are in. Let's turn it around. Do. So good luck to Riley, Andrew, Ali, and Tony. And the name coming in on the draw tonight, going to the game. There we go. Where's the name? Tony. Good work, buddy. I just like to show everybody their names in the draw so we don't mess around, right? We don't mess around. There. Perfect. If you're watching online, you could see that. So Tony will get a hold of you, and you'll be going to the game tonight. Congratulations, Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. So let's get to Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, and the showdown menu is on at McDonald's as Matthews and McDavid, and you can chow down on a variety of different, the Big Mac David. You can also have the Smoky Quarter Poppy in honor of Austin Matthews. You got the Hat Trick, which is a triple cheeseburger, the Spicy Junior Chirpy, which is a little chicken burger, and the Selly Sundae. All special right now. And the Power Play Poutine, little extra mix of bacon. Check it out right now, only at McDonald's. As the Canucks come to town, this is the final regular season meeting. Hey, selfishly, I want to see the Oilers and the Canucks play again. I love rivalries, and they're only heightened if they meet in the playoffs, but we'll see if that happens. Canucks beat reporter with the Vancouver Sun, Patrick Johnson, joins us again. Patrick, how you doing, man?
Hey, man. Great to be here. Picked some great entry music there with Streets Have No Name. Of course, Canucks playoff song.
Oh, is that really is that their playoff song? I didn't know that.
Traditionally, yeah. It's a long-standing. I suppose it's a long-standing controversial choice, but that they would play the instrumental. Yeah, so there's some great memories, certainly of the West Coast Express era, and kind of coming up for Tuesday Nazzle and all that, coming roaring out of the gates. But, they finally brought it back. Yeah, they played it last year in the playoffs, and because of course that's playoffs have been a rare thing in this town.
Yeah, well, you know what, Cons is always in on the musical. He picks all that, so he probably knew that one. So I give him all the credit for that. Like on paper, the Canucks should easily be a playoff team. They got more talent than Calgary. They got more talent than St. Louis. They got more talent than Utah. But they're in a battle right now. It's like four teams, separated by 4 points here with 35 games to go. When you look at this Canucks season, we hear there's drama after drama going on there. Where did it stem from? Because they've been teammates for 5 years. So let's start with that one, Patrick. It just they might not be the best of friends, but I don't know could it be that bad, or is this blown out of proportion?
It's a very strange one. You're absolutely right. Listen, there's no secret here. These two are not buddies. They're not hanging out. They're not going to McDonald's to share some playoff poutine or power play poutine. They're not doing that.
Yeah.
But I think it's more complicated than I think one versus one. Clearly, there's been some stuff going on. Like JT Miller took a leave, right? That alone is unusual. And when this story is finally written, I think there's still a lot we don't know. There's lots of little bits and pieces that people have heard, but you can't really square one with the other.
Okay.
When this story comes out, it's going to be, I think, a very complicated and perhaps unexpected tale. But that's more my instincts than anything. In the end, it's not a happy room. That much we know.
Okay.
And everybody you talk to behind the scenes is that this they need to move on. Something needs to change. The sort of best conclusion we have is that it's going to be a JT Miller trade. And when that happens, I think there will be a collective sigh of relief, not just necessarily because of whatever it is specifically that may have happened, but just because they won't have to talk about it quite the same. I mean, it's still going to be there. The team will have changed, right? The lineup will not be what it once was. And the way this team was constructed, because as you said, this team is built a particular way and it was very successful last year.
Yeah.
There's just no getting around that. But, and you see games like they had last Saturday, the week before Saturday in Toronto. This is a team that has had moments this season. But when you zoom out, the overall has been more what we saw on Tuesday against the Sabres, where they blow a third period lead. They struggle in really key moments. They can't score. They can't put games away. It's been a team that mostly has not been good enough. And that appears to be the truth of this team, at least this season, that for whatever juice they had last year, they don't have it this year. And they are now the complete opposite of what we thought they would be.
And, the Rick Tocchet, I kind of joked about it that, when sometimes your parents, you do something wrong and they can yell and scream at you, or when they're very calm and are like, son, I'm very disappointed. The disappointment one crushes you. And yesterday after that game, you used the word disappointed 3 times in very a calm manner, which normally means ooh, he's really, he's irked. How do you think his team responds to that? And what was he so disappointed about in that Buffalo game?
Well, just before this, I'm putting together a little story on just sort of how average Thatcher Demko has been in his return, to put it kindly. They need their goalie to perform, but he is not why they've been struggling. It's what they've been doing in front of him. Obviously, it would help if he would bail them out, but bigger picture, it's you look at the 3 goals. 2 of the goals on Tuesday were off faceoffs. They just didn't cover a guy. And, Tocchet talked about that. He said, I don't know what you're up 2-1, cover your guy. What are you doing? And you get a goal, there was a goal off sort of a blown coverage in front of the net, or sort of a quick, low to high pass right at the top of the crease. Just details. And it's just details, and it drives me nuts. And, Rick Tocchet, listen, the one thing he demands and gets out of his team, and this is true, going back to when he was coaching in Arizona, his stint coaching in Tampa was so long ago and so early in his career, it's kind of hard to compare. But you look at Arizona, you look at here, he preaches and he gets strong defensive play.
Okay.
His teams are going to keep it tight. And they have been, but then they have these brain farts, for lack of a better expression.
Yeah.
And that's what's so disappointing. And, you have a 2-1 lead at home in the third period, right? You shouldn't be losing. but this is a team that has struggled to win at home all season. And as you said, yeah, the sort of, I mean, Rick Tocchet has this reputation. I think people think Rick Tocchet, because of course who he was as a player, that's just incredibly aggressive, guy who's going to throw your miss. You go on YouTube, looking for old clips of, on 1980s hockey, and half of them are Rick Tocchet jump on top of some guy in front of the crease to settle a score. Guy who could score, a guy who could throw his fist, but he is an incredibly calm person.
Right.
He is very, very controlled in his emotions. And so you're absolutely right. Like we've gotten used to seeing a disappointed Rick Tocchet, but it's a shades of disappointment. And what we saw on Tuesday night was as frustrated a coach as we've seen all season. A guy that's been trying, and I wrote this a couple of weeks ago. I mean, in many ways, the frustration is not new, right? Like this is how Bruce Boudreau felt before he got canned. Like that there's a frustration with sort of the focused and attention to detail of the players. And when he speaks the way he does, he's talking about his stars. I mean, obviously JT Miller is a mess because there is a reason why they're trying to get rid of him, because it's just not working. And he shows up to work and he's been putting up points and making some plays and whatever, but he's not been the two-way force that they wanted to be. Elias Pettersson has been a disaster for a year. He and that was kind of out of nowhere. Like the guy was one of the NHL stars of the month last January. And now he's been a mess, and he's just not been putting up. He's been playing okay defensively, but he hasn't been putting up the points. He scored a goal, but on Tuesday, but the overall dominance has not been there. And he needs, when your stars are not playing well, Quinn Hughes is obviously playing amazing, but when the rest of your stars aren't playing well, you aren't anywhere. And it is in many ways the complete opposite of what's been, I think, the Edmonton Oilers experience this year. How great their two stars have been. The Canucks stars have been the complete opposite.
And you know what? It's interesting that you mention Pettersson, because you're right, Patrick. And Patrick Johnson joins us talking Canucks. How it looked like, this is a young guy who was coming on and had a 100-point season and looked really good. And then, even before he signed the contract extension, since he signed the extension, obviously it's been brutal, but even before then, you mentioned it just kind of all of a sudden, hey, we're ramping up, a player of the month, and then boom, he hit the ditch. And you talked about being unhappy. And it's kind of funny because yesterday with Rich Winter and Matt DeMosaic, who's a psychologist, we were talking about in sports, and this was from a coaching perspective, like the importance of having love in your room, and the players know the coach loves them and stuff. And it was very different dynamics to do it. But even as a player group, you need that. And you opened this talking about how it's not a happy room. Like there's personality traits, like management, like what are they dragging their feet for then? If it's that obvious, why not just, look for a trade, make the trade, and let's move on.
Yeah, I wrote a column a couple weeks ago looking at the 1981, the famous Pat Quinn, big trade with St. Louis, bringing in Jeff Portnoy, Sergio Momesso, Cliff Ronning, Robert Dirk. This trade that completely changed the face of the Canucks and turned them into this team that became one of the teams of the early 90s. And, that trade wasn't the only trade Quinn made. He made a series of moves to reset his room and got rid of, one of the guys going out in the trade was a guy named Dan Quinn, who, in the end was, I think, as someone said to me the other day, put it politely, well, not a guy you're going to win with. He was a decent player and a decent guy, but there just wasn't that extra.
Right.
And right now the Canucks are missing that extra. And whether that's, the loss of, say, a guy like Ian Cole, who was, a down the roster player, but still had a presence and an attitude that dragged people up. Or, Nikita Zadorov, the most sort of A personality you can get, right? Guy who was not afraid of a microphone, not afraid of what he felt and wanted to say, and not afraid to say it. There is some of that in what they're missing this year. They don't have guys like that. They certainly didn't have those guys before either. But what are they waiting for? Well, I think the problem is inherently where they're now at, right? Like they've got Miller, who is 32, and until this season played pretty well. But there's all kinds of question marks about him. Like why did he take a lead? Why is there apparently a problem now all of a sudden with dynamic between these two? Why isn't he playing that well? Is he, is he carrying an injury around? Has he been playing? The team has admitted that basically in training camp he was dealing with one and then tried to battle through it, and that was part of the story when he took his time off. was that he also, I mean, he didn't want to say it, but there was an element of, well, you know, at the very least, he'll get to rest up whatever it is he's dealing with. We think it's some kind of neck thing. It's a lingering thing, you know, but in the end, the Canucks have a player that probably makes your team better, right? Like, you're not trading for him thinking, oh, this guy's not going to be any better than he is. You think he's going to be reset and he's going to be rejuvenated, but you have no particular incentive to do so. It's on the Canucks to make the move happen. So, you know, there's obviously teams being floated out there, being interested. You know, in the end, the team is almost certainly going to be the New York Rangers at this point.
Right.
And it comes down to, what are the Canucks really willing to grit their teeth about, right? They know that they're selling cents on the dollar. They're not getting a hot young prospect in return. If this were JT Miller at the end of last season, you're getting a big package for him because people are like, oh, wow, it's an exciting player who just had a great playoff. Right now, you're trading for a player that you're not so sure about, that there have always been question marks about. And the Canucks know that. They're just sitting there hoping that something comes along, that it changes some dynamic, that someone happens. But time is running short, because the other thing in all this is that Quentin Hughes has only 2 more years on his contract, and then he's a UFA. And then you're sort of wondering, you know, will he want to stay? Is this, you know, what does he think of the circus? He certainly isn't going to be too happy about how things are going right now. He's here to win. He's doing his best.
Yeah.
He's at the point now, though. Like, I asked Rick talking about this yesterday. I said, "Are you worried that he's trying to do too much?" He said, "Yeah, I think he tried to do too much on Tuesday." And so, you know, now your best player, who's having this all-time season, now he's trying to do too much. You know, I mean, nobody's happy when that happens. He's going to start getting frustrated. And so, you know, you have this 2-year Quinn Hughes window. You know, you have to think about that. Like, you want to dream that you're going to be a re-signing guy, but you have to think, we have, you know, next year's we got to go. Let's go. So the longer they wait now, you know, it's a double-edged sword. The longer they wait, the less of trying to fix things now, or the longer, you know, the less chance you have to fix things right now, try to get something out of this season. But then again, if you wait a bit longer, maybe your deal's better. I mean, I asked Patrick Alvin on Tuesday, because we talked to the GM on Tuesday. I said, you know, realistically, you mentioned time. Do you think you're going to have to wait till the trade deadline? He said, well, obviously, you know, yes, that could shift things. He mentioned cap space, which is the obvious one.
Yeah.
You know, so what are they waiting for? I mean, I think it is kind of a combination of, well, we're still kind of in this playoff race. You mentioned that already. It is a bit of a turtle derby. Calgary has not been able to pull away despite all this. So, you know, it's not like they have zero runway. They do, I guess, in terms of making the playoffs, have a short runway. And they always subscribe to that, you know, you get in, anything can happen kind of mentality. But, like, yeah, so everyone's sort of sitting here waiting for something to happen. Like I said, I talked to people behind the scenes, and they're just kind of going, yeah, you know, like, something's got to go. Like, it's just got to go. How much longer can we wait?
Yeah.
And yeah. And you got it. Like, in the end, nobody in the room is projecting confidence, right? Like, that's the other thing. Like, nobody in the room is projecting confidence. You want to know how, like, that's how unhappy they are. Rick Tocchet's trying to do his best and talk it up and trying to pump up his players. But when you talk to those guys, for them, you know, I had a nice chat with Vinny DeHarney. He's feeling, I had a nice chat with Brock Besser last week. But when they stand up and have to do the kind of face the cameras element, it's like a hostage video, you know? There's no one coming out trying to say, this is Canucks hockey, let's go, you know? It's sort of like, yeah, we know, you know? And it's just like, it's tough. It's tough. You know, when you deal with these guys every day, you know this, we deal with these guys every day. We're not rooting for the team, but, you know, we want these guys, you know, it's in our interest to see these guys succeed because it's easier for us, you know?
Yes.
Like that's reality. So yeah, it's a situation where they will serve many purposes whenever this trade goes down, and we are assuming the trade will go down.
Yeah, and when I look at the Rangers, because if they get Miller, like, that's $8 million for next year, right? And they've already got Alexis Lafreniere's contract kicking in next year, and then Igor Shesterkin's big raise kicks in next year, so they'd have to send out some salary, right, to make this work. And like, I know, you know, I've seen Keandre Miller's name come up because, you know, obviously Vancouver wants a defenseman, and, you know, he's an RFA. And so, you know, maybe that, you know, Braden Schneider might be somebody they want more. We'll see. But when I look at, like, contracts, like, I guess Riley Smith would have to be part of the deal because he's got 1 year left. You know, this is his UFA, excuse me. So, you know, that makes some of it. But, like, which one of their big guys, you know, Kreider, like, who are they taking? They got to take somebody.
Well, there's been all this talk about Zibanejad, but I guess he doesn't want to come here. I'm not really.
Dude, you don't want him. Oh
no, I'm not really sure what this guy he wants. No, you're right. Like Phil Hedl, his name's been mentioned, but that's the reality of how kind of underwhelming the returns probably. The thing that matches about the Rangers is that it is pretty openly, I think, a team that's looking, or management's looking to reset what they have. Well, so are the Canucks, and that's a fit. Yeah, the Canucks would love to get Braden Schneider, especially when you realize he's only making 2-2, right? Like, there's an incredible fit there. I don't think the Rangers want to do that. Keandre Miller, I think, would be really interesting, but it's tough to read. It's tough to read about what's happening, with him. And I think he would be an interesting player. Ryan Lindgren was a name that's kind of been kicked around, and to me, that's another underwhelming option. UFA 4.5 guy that kind of he can play as a decent number 2 guy on your second pair, I guess. But there's nothing really exciting there. But that's the reality of this trade, is that you're moving out a guy that's just not working for you anymore, and you're just accepting. Well, I could use this person here and I could use that person there, but it's not a trade that's actually making your team, better. It's just sort of reshaping your options. And the Canucks have been looking for a defenseman, sort of a 3-4 guy since last season. Like, that's not a secret. That's an open, understood thing. But I don't think this is the trade that's going to make it happen. I mean, there's obviously been noise about a few other teams here and there, but as someone said to me, I was asking someone about the Hurricanes. They're like, well, obviously they want to win the trade too, right? So, they're going to bring in Miller. They think that's going to help them, but they're also adding a big ticket contract. So they've got to figure out some kind of, part of the deal that's going to sweeten it for them. And do the Canucks really want to do that? How far are they willing to go? And that's where you're at. So the Rangers fit. I think there's an interest in the end. That's why there's an interest from management to bring him in. And we'll see how this shakes out, I guess.
Patrick, great stuff, man. Do you think we see any added emotion tonight in this game?
It's funny. I was talking to Jeff Patterson about this, and I think it's Jeff being the old WHL guy that he is. That he just knew that something back in the day. You just knew something crazy was going to happen, and he still has it deep inside of him. I just don't think that's the league anymore. I think even yesterday I talked to Vinny. I saw you guys talk to Vinny this morning, but Vinny yesterday I kind of said, I'm sure we've shown we don't take it, we don't take it anything from anybody, but I don't think they expect much to happen, because if there's going to be anybody, we'd Tyler Myers, because you tried to take Evan Bouchard's head off. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Like as I think it's well discussed, but Connor Garland, all he did was
he did nothing.
He just held McDavid. He didn't, he didn't take his head off. He's the one who has. Anyway, I don't know. I don't think so. It's going to be feisty. I'm sure Garland. The thing that's actually interested me was how annoyed Draisaitl was with him, and Garland plays that game, right? Like, he drives people crazy. So maybe in game, but I'm not so sure that's specific out of the last game.
Yeah, well, that makes too much sense. But I want them to be irrational and be like, you know what, we just got to send a message. And Troy Stetcher and Garland have a great little welterweight tilt at center ice, and the crowd goes crazy. It'd be awesome. But,
yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah. All right, man. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Take care, bud. See you later.
There you go. That is Patrick Johnson joining us from Vancouver. 3:43. We got a lot of texts coming in on the Oilers and the Canucks. Guys, I hope you're right. I'd love to see some added extra emotion. Just doesn't seem like we get it very often. Well, hey, trust me. I'm the last part is I didn't say it was going to happen. I just thought it would be nice. And not even a fight. I just want a little extra, a few big hits, a few scrums, something to just get the emotion amplified a little bit. In the rink, it's a late January game. It's not going to happen all 41 home games. It's not going to happen all 41 road games. I understand that, but a few times a year, like, this is a rival. You beat them in the playoffs last year. The Canucks should come in here. They should be ornery, right? Their coach is disappointed multiple times after last game. Said it 3 different times in a scrum. That's rare. So come out, try to just show some emotion and energy. Chirp the Oilers bench. What are you going to do? Cross-check me in the face? Get into it. Have some fun. Let's go. Be awesome. Not sure it'll happen, but it sure would be nice. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, and rivalries and chirping. It's all fun. And sometimes it goes to a new level. We'll discuss it next.
You don't know what awaits you on the road to come, but with the 2025 XC90 from Volvo of Edmonton, you'll have the versatility to take on whatever life throws at you. The new XC90, a luxurious SUV with seating for up to 7, boasts newly upgraded body and wheel design. It's the perfect choice to drive into the coming year. And right now, you'll save $4,500 and lease from 1.49% on all in-stock 2025 XC90s. Volvo Cars Edmonton. VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, 1205 101 Street Southwest.
For years now, we've been warning Edmontonians on the hazards of our stormwater facilities. While they may appear to look like still ponds, there is moving water beneath the surface, which makes the ice dangerously. The unpredictability of stormwater facilities makes them treacherously unsafe for all winter activities, even walking. So think twice. Don't go on the ice. A safety message from EPCOR.
McDonald's presents a hockey showdown like never before. McDavid versus Matthews. There can only be one winner, competing for all the glory and all the prize. The new menu features top shelf plays like the Smoky Quarter Poppy and the Big Mac David, so everybody scores, with even more delicious options like the Spicy Junior Chirpy. Now that calls for a Selly Sunday. The Showdown menu, now available at McDonald's.
Hair Aware with Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hey, Dr. Vance, does a hair transplant have to look like a hair transplant? There's a guy at work, his is totally obvious.
My goal is to give every one of my patients a full natural-looking head of hair, so I stay up to date on the latest innovations. This is science, and more importantly, an art. I do things differently and move more hair than is normally done, resulting in a thicker look that is also more natural.
Trust a world-renowned expert in hair restoration. Book an appointment at drvanceelliott.com today. Planning for your future. Vision Credit Union makes it simple with 2 RRSP options to fit your goals. Choose a secure term deposit RRSP with guaranteed returns or a mutual fund RRSP offering higher growth potential with exciting opportunities. With an RRSP, you'll save on your 2024 taxes, grow your investments tax-free, and get closer to your dreams, whether it's retirement or your first home. Don't wait. The deadline to qualify for 2024 tax deductions is March 3rd. Learn more at visioncu.ca. You know, this year I can't decide what to work on for my New Year's resolution. See, my confidence, my appearance, or my general happiness.
Why not improve all three by finally addressing your hair loss? Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. Receding hairlines and bald spots can chip away at your self-image, make you look older, and feel unattractive. Let's discuss your options for regaining a full natural head of hair and make this the year you get your mojo back. Book a free first consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.348. Welcome back, Gregor Halley. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely day. A nice day outside, by the way. Not as windy. Holy cow, the other night. Oof. That Tuesday night? Man, blowing all over the place. So it's nice not to have that. I actually talked to a guy I coached with last year. His team was playing a game at the Roslyn Outdoor Rink. And they had like a Zamboni, and it was like unreal. Last night, no wind, and I'm like, whew, wonder how many other teams are doing that. That's a great idea. I think, you get the kids on the lights, like a real game. That was awesome because certain generation of listeners used to play all your games outside. I know it's a while ago, but trust me, that's all you knew at the time. You thought it was great, and I think it's something that we could do now. Now, obviously, last night was like perfect weather conditions, but back in the day, man, it was -15. You're putting on some long underwear, and you're getting out there. Suck it up. Play. It's good. Let's get to the racing report now, brought to you by Can Torque. They offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com. Colin Livingston joins us. And man, we just talked about the Vancouver Canucks, and they might be the most dramatic NHL team. There's always a lot of drama around the Oilers. The Canucks. But F1 might give them a run for their money because there's lots of drama in F1, it seems. And right now, there's actually like a pretty big scrap going on. The F1's Grand Prix Drivers Association, which George Russell's like it's like the NHLPA for anybody out there listening. You always have a few spokespersons. Somebody has to be kind of the leader of it for the Players Association. And Russell's that guy. He's one of them anyway. And they're really going after FIA president Ben Solem because he's made all these claims about, oh no, you can't say this. Like even using the term, I didn't even understand it. How he said you can't use the term world in the way that Lewis Hamilton was. Like, pardon? What's going on here?
They're in trouble. And first of all, half a step back, awesome call on the music there, Connor. Nailed that. Love it. This guy keeps looking for problems where there are none and ruling with an iron fist. That I understand that they want to maintain their image. They want to make sure that everything is as presentable as possible to, kids, to families. But come on, let's have a little bit of reality. So, he's on this campaign to make sure that drivers, essentially never swear. They don't want to hear them swearing over the radio. They don't want to hear drivers swearing in any of the press conferences, the meetings. Really easy to look at it and say, yeah, you shouldn't be swearing when you're on TV. We can sit here, you and I can have a private conversation, Gregor.
Yep.
We go stand out in the hallway. There's going to be words that are used. The second we've got a microphone in front of our face, we know there's certain words you can't say.
100%.
But in the heat of the moment, in the heat of battle, you can't be controlling what drivers say. Now, you and I both also have the benefit of being born and raised in Alberta. English is our first language. So we were raised to know how bad some of these words are. There's a lot of drivers who are Japanese, they're German, they're Dutch, they're whatever. They're raised with other languages. They don't understand the implication. Yeah. Like, to use the S word when you're trying to go take a bowel movement, to them, it's just a word for what happens when you go to the bathroom. Right. It's not, they don't have the same connotation in their brain as what we interpret it as. So it's kind of unfair to be targeting these people and saying, listen, you can't say this, you can't say that, to the point now that they're talking about points penalties and suspensions for drivers. Like it took Kevin Magnuson 3 years of driving like a lunatic to get a one race ban for for driving like a maniac on the racetrack. Yeah. Now they're trying to implement the same level of penalty for someone who uses a word.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. And it's something that keeps coming back. It's not being driven by sponsors. It's not being driven by fans. If fans of motorsport want to watch racing, but they're offended that a driver in whatever context is going to use some level of profanity, go find a sport where you're not going to hear that. If you sit by the glass in an NHL game, I don't care what team it is and what city, you're going to hear some of the wildest things that you can imagine. Our good friend Terry Ryan with his show Shoresy. I mean, they pump the tires on that a little bit, but that's not too far out of the realm of reality, the way that these guys are talking to each other. Every sport has it. I mean, I don't care if you're on a golf course, if you're at a soccer match, when you're in competition, these things kind of happen. So to make this kind of the most important thing that the president of the FIA is going for is just, it's asinine.
Well, the term world is the one that really kind of got my attention. I'm like, what's this guy talking about? Like, oh, you can't use world in the sense that you're doing it. Now, the teams have all come out and said, we don't agree with this.
Yeah.
So what ultimately is going to happen here? Is Ben on a power trip here? Or there's got to have somebody else who's agreeing with him on this?
Without question he is on. He's got not a mandate, but he's got an agenda that isn't driven by anything but his vision of what he thinks this should be.
Okay.
As there's a commercial rights holder, there's the FIA, there's this, like, we want to see good racing. This is what people really care about. You get fans to engage in motorsport by doing what Formula One did with their Drive to Survive program. You get people to learn who these drivers are. You buy into some of the drama. You learn, whether it's factual or not, that this driver has a rivalry with this driver, and you like to see them fight on track because of what you saw behind the scenes. This is how we get people watching this stuff, not some watered down version. They came out a couple years ago and said drivers can't have any jewelry when they're racing because it poses a health risk if they're in an accident. Lewis has a number of piercings that aren't seen. You can imagine where they are. And they're talking about how Lewis could further endanger himself if he's in an accident, if one of these piercings rips out.
He has a nipple ring?
I think he's got 2.
Okay.
But
seriously?
No fooling. He can also hurt himself if he gets into an accident in the first place. Like, this isn't, there's no rationality to what they're doing.
Yeah, like he's wearing how many layers over top of that? And they're going to say that somehow it's going to get caught on something. It would just rip out. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah. They've come out and they said, drivers, when they're giving their post-race interviews, have to keep their fire suits on and done up.
Why?
Because it looks more professional than when they have them there. Like, I'll tell you what, you come to any racetrack
Here's the
anywhere.
Thing. Has any fan ever complained? If not, zip it.
Who cares if they complain?
Yeah, but the fact that, because I use that as an example because there's a section of fan base that will complain about anything.
Of course.
Right. So if that's something that no fans even complain about it, then it's not an issue.
Nobody's ever even thought about it because underneath their fire suit, just like underneath a go-kart suit, underneath an IndyCar suit, underneath a NASCAR suit, we've got an undershirt. It's not like people are walking around bare-chested.
And even if they were, like, guys get interviewed bare chest all the time, who cares?
They've been in a car. Qatar a couple years ago was 46 degrees Celsius. They're in a car that's hotter than that. They get out of the car. They want to get a little bit of ventilation. You just want to cool down. That's all it is. And that became a problem. So, we talked a little bit about this before we went live. It is going to get worse before it gets better.
How's it going to get worse?
Because the FIA and Ben Suliem is going to dig in. The Grand Prix Drivers Association, the teams are going to dig in. Even the team said, why are you doing this publicly without even talking to us first? So there's a couple of divergent agendas here that are, they're on a collision course.
Is this just typical F1? Because they love to make drama and then and nothing ever comes of it. They're like, oh, people are talking about us, but there's really nothing going on.
No, not when you start changing rules and threatening drivers with suspensions and fines. And this is manufactured, but it's not manufactured to get more people watching. It's manufactured so that this guy is exacting more control on the drivers.
Now, your Chili Bowl. Yeah. The Chili Bowl, the finals came on. The quote you had from Mario Andretti, if everything seems under control, you're not going fast enough.
Bingo. That's 100% true.
Yeah. And so, because now for anybody out there, just refresh quickly what the Chili Bowl is.
A group of almost 400 entries, what are called midget cars. They're scaled down sprint cars. They run on dirt. They build a track inside a convention center, 1/5 of a mile long.
Like Kyle Larson's racing in this.
He won it.
Oh, so
Kyle won.
Okay.
Ricky Stenhouse was there. Christopher Bell from
like
NASCAR.
Some legit drivers.
Catherine Legge ran. Santino Ferrucci from IndyCar. There was a Kyle Busch ran. There's a lot of big name drivers that come to run. It's relatively inexpensive to put a car into this thing. The entry fee for a driver is only $150 if you pre-register like 3 weeks in advance. So yeah, I mean, it came down. The final was crazy, absolutely insane. Where now I can't think of the P2 guy, but they were well ahead of the pack with 4 laps to go. The driver in second place was trying to chase down Larson, overcommitted out of a corner, hit the wall, climbed the wall, managed to survive. Half a lap later, Larson was obviously pushing. Larson hit the wall so hard, he climbed up, landed sideways, car almost stopped. He was able to drive away without too much damage. But yeah, by the time they were done, these were the main features. The place was just a cloud. It was dirt up in the air. It was exhaust. Like you could hardly see to the backside of the Expo Center, but it was such awesome racing.
Great stuff, man. We're getting closer to getting. I know there's more testing coming up in February and everything, and then soon enough there'll be lots of racing to discuss outside of the Chili Bowl, and we'll see if F1 can find some sort of just be common sense. But sometimes common sense isn't very common in the world of sports.
Rolex 24 this weekend should be streamed live on YouTube for anyone outside of the States. So 24 hours from Saturday to Sunday.
Ooh, nice. Yes. All right. Thanks for that, buddy. Have a good one.
You bet.
That's Colin Livingston in the Racing Report, brought to you by Cantork. We'll return. We got lots more to discuss on the order. People are fired up about the Canucks game tonight. We're all dreaming, but that's nice. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Principe, Spector, Reed will all join us in the final few hours. We'll hear more from Chris Knobloch. We are going to touch on Nugent-Hopkins in the next segment. I'm going to dig into some numbers for you and why 93 needs to get going and quickly. I would say very quickly. Let's get to Connor Halley Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Fountain Tire. Get where you need to go this winter with the midwinter tire clearance sale at Fountain Tire. You can save up to 20% off in-stock winter tires, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. Complete details at fountaintire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Oilers in action, hosting the Vancouver Canucks down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 7 o'clock. We've got pregame coverage for you here on Sports 1440 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson getting going at 6 o'clock. Elsewhere around the NHL tonight, Sens in Boston. The Red Wings host the Canadiens. Flyers take on the Rangers. Canes at Jackets. Golden Knights head to St. Louis. You got the Wild hosting the Hockey Club. Penguins in Anaheim. Kraken host the Caps. And the Preds taking on San Jose. Toronto Maple Leafs have recalled goaltender Matt Murray from the AHL's Toronto Marlies. The team also sent Dennis Hildeby to the Marlies after he allowed 4 goals on 18 shots in their loss to the Blue Jackets. In the association, one final from earlier today. Across the pond in Paris, Victor Wembanyama led the Spurs with 30 points and 11 boards. They defeat the Pacers 140-110. On our side, you got the Hawks hosting the Raptors at 5:30. Magic taking on the Trailblazers. Heat in Milwaukee. Thunder hosting the Mavericks. Kings taking on the Nuggets. Warriors, Bulls, Celtics, Lakers, and Clippers up against the Wizards. And from the world of soccer, Bayern Munich star Alphonso Davies suffered a muscle strain in his left hamstring during Wednesday's Champions League game. He left the game late in the first half. The game they lost 3-0. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and be joined by Sportsnet's Gene Principe. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Just when the weather is freezing your nosy, someone's got a new menu that's tasty and cozy. What? It's Booster Juice. Now you can warm up and chow down with a savory selection of grilled fresh favorites. Breakfast wraps, chicken wraps, grilled cheese, steak, and chicken paninis. Topped with melty cheese, creamy pesto, spicy chipotle, grilled fresh options made in-house, warm and delicious. Made daily with the finest ingredients. Cozy comfort food at Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Sunday, February 9th. Touchdown! The biggest game of the year. On 30 TVs.
Only at On the Rocks. Join host Ryan Jesperson at OTR's Rock and Bowl Super Party.
Tickets only $30 and include
guaranteed seating,
a team t-shirt,
prepaid moosehead,
and an all-you-can-eat tailgate buffet.
Plus prizes each quarter.
And one person will take home $1,000 at the end of the game.
Touchdown! The Rock and Bowl Super Party, February 9th.
Tickets at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
Attention drivers, it's the Midwinter Tire Clearance Sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
Cold, icy mornings, frozen windshield, snow in the forecast, and your vehicle won't start. You know what that means, Alberta. Winter is here. Don't get left out of the cold. Head to Napa Auto Parts today to gear up for the frosty months ahead. Winter won't wait, and neither should you. From premium batteries, starters, and alternators to high-quality wiper blades, antifreeze, and snow brushes, Napa Auto Parts has everything you need to get your vehicle winter ready and running. With over 85 locations in Alberta, stop into your local Napa store or visit NapaCanada.com for all your trusted parts, tools, equipment, and automotive needs. That's Napa know-how.
When was the last time your electricity and natural gas provider made you feel like this? Low rates, no strings attached, year-round perks, and local energy experts who always have your back. With Encore by EPCOR. Find that carefree energy feeling at encore.epcor.com/carefree.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Miss golf during the off-season? Of course you do. So head to the Leduc Golf Club and try their state-of-the-art golf simulators. Perfect your swing, enjoy delicious food and beverages, and even book a lesson with one of the Leduc Golf Club pros. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or just starting, the Leduc Golf Club simulators offer a great way to keep your game sharp any time of the year. Call or visit the Leduc Golf Club today to book your spot and swing into action all year round.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EPCOR. Stormwater ponds in Edmonton are designed to move water and runoff from streets and sidewalks, making them unsafe for winter activities. Instead, head to a community league or city rink that's safe for you, your family, and friends. Think twice and stay off the ice. Learn more at epcor.com/winter safety.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
After 4 o'clock. Welcome back, Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having an awesome day. Got a lot of texts flying in. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. And we were talking earlier last hour about the atmosphere in the game, and the fan section got a lot of texts coming in on that one, and how I think it's something that would be very wise to start at the Oilers, and you find a partner, because I don't think if the team starts it, it's going to really work, if I'm being bluntly honest, because they'll try to control a lot of things and whatever. And, you have to get a fan section. You don't have to micromanage it, right? Obviously, they're not going to suddenly have racist and homophobic, none of that stuff, right? People are smart. But it's going to be an atmosphere, and it's going to be one that is ongoing. It's not just at stoppages. It's not just at random times. Non-random times. You want it at random times where all of a sudden, a few big hits or whatever, and they got certain chants and everybody gets into it, right? Like certain teams have small little things like that works, but I think they need more of it. Hey guys, I agree with the fan section. Watched my first pro soccer game in Japan last month, and both teams' fans were going back and forth, competing with their respective cheers, and made the game so much more enjoyable. That one comes from Bud. Guys, I totally agree with you about the atmosphere. I went to see London last year, went to Stamford Bridge to see Chelsea Arsenal. It was amazing. The singing, there were songs for every player. It was a hell of a lot of fun. That one comes in from Brian. Hey, guys, it used to be awesome when my buddy Mike used to put his grand Puna hat at the old Rexall Place in the Molson Canadian fan zone. It was always a good time. Well, yeah, you'd have fun. But, yeah, the fan zone was good. And that leads to this. Hey, Gregor, it's called alcohol. If beer was affordable, more people would cheer. Totally disagree. Completely, 100% emphatically disagree. You ever been to a college football game in the U.S.? They don't serve alcohol. Okay? Don't for a moment tell me that people can't have fun sober. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous and not true. Now, maybe you can't, and that's your choice. But lots of people will cheer and have a good time. And actually have a way better time, because they won't be alcohol fueled. Because usually when you're alcohol fueled, some people overreact. Hey, that guy bumped my shoulder. Now we got to fight. Really? No, come on. It's not going to happen. So I would strongly disagree with the if you don't have alcohol, you can't have fun. And here's the thing. I know lots of people, even though they don't like the price of it, they still pay for it. So I don't think alcohol price, because guess what? For years, it wasn't expensive. So, and they still didn't have a crazy fan zone, right? It's just not how it works. So there you have it. Let's get to a few other comments on the fan zone, guys. Some college sports have been able to serve. Yeah, some, not all though. Right? Not all college places, Cons, because I know we went. Where do we go in 22? Arizona? I think it was Arizona. Yeah, they didn't have alcohol sales. I think it varies from school to school now.
Yeah, as of 2013, 80% of major college football schools sold alcohol.
Yeah, but
so it is going up.
Yeah, but still, were the atmosphere in 2012 any quieter than 2024?
No, and I mean,
that's my point.
You got to factor in, if you want to drink beforehand, you're going to drink before.
Well, that's exactly
right?
it too. Yeah,
they can do a tailgating. You can do that here. You could drink before.
Yeah,
like
some people want to do it. It's fine. I just don't think you need alcohol as a lone factor to do it, because I've seen the cheers. I've been in a German hockey rink where I had one beer. That's it. I only had one, and I was like, "This is unbelievable." And I didn't even know what they were saying. I didn't speak German. And they're all singing these songs and everything. It was unreal.
And think about it. Like if you were to make that argument that it's the beer prices, well, in Atlanta for Falcons games, it's cheaper beer.
Yeah.
Their atmosphere is not the best in the league. It's no Kansas City. It's no Seattle. So yeah, I don't think there's a correlation there.
Yeah. No, I don't think you can just say, oh, if everybody's annihilated. And by the way, you don't want to promote, hey, just get bombed to have a good time. Why not one or two beers? Great. I know lots of people that have a great time that can cheer with one beer, 0 beers, 3 beers. Doesn't matter. It's not, I only cheer unless I've had 10. Like, no. Then you probably wouldn't be able to remember the cheer anyway. So that wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good at all. So we'll get to I want to get to the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins thing, because Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, when you look with McDavid out, I think it becomes magnified even more that he needs to get going here. Right now, to date, he's on pace for the least productive 5-on-5 season of his career. Now, keep in mind, the Oilers have played 47 games. So some years when they only played 40, 52, 53, 55 because of injuries. So he's closing in on those type of seasons in games played. And he's right now, for the first time ever, at 40, because he's played 47. So the first time in his career, he's under 1 point per 60, which is 1 5-on-5 point. And so when you play about, on average, 13 minutes a game, 5-on-5, so do the math. That's about what? 8 games? Give or take, just under, like 7.5, for argument's sake. So he's getting 1 point. Oh, no, that's not right. Sorry, I'm doing 100. It's supposed to be 60 minutes. Duh. So it's about every 4 games, right? He's getting 1 point 5-on-5 every 4 games. That's what his rate is right now. Slightly under. The worst of his career was 1.12, and that was in the shortened season when he only played 40 games in 2013. And 2 years ago, he had 39 points, which is really good. And that's just 5-on-5. He's on pace for 18 this year. And he still played the majority of his time with Connor McDavid. He's played 349 minutes with McDavid. Unfortunately, in the 262 minutes away from him, he has 2 points. 2. Right? Like it's not good enough. You do the math on that. Right? You're talking 2 points in 18 games. Basically worthy of 18 games, like 5-on-5. It's mind-blowing to me. It doesn't make sense. So they need more from him. And I know some, hey, Gregor, points aren't everything. Sure, they're not everything. That's fair. But they're a big part of the game. They're the biggest thing that decides a winner and a loser. Not shots, Not shot attempts, but goals. You can get outshot 50-10 and still win, as long as you outscore them. So while you can say there's more to points, sure, but nothing's more valuable. It just isn't. Because that's what impacts the game the most. And like he's not getting dominated 5-on-5 as far as goals for against, so that's fine. It's +2. Okay, it's not great. The Oilers as a team are +12, 5-on-5. So, when you look at that, he's kind of right in the norm. Like Draisaitl, the team without Draisaitl on the ice isn't as good. There's no question, right? Like Draisaitl's great 5-on-5, and that's kind of really pushing up the overall team numbers, to be honest, this year. His combination of him and Podkolzin and Arvidsson and Nurse, when they play together, they're really good. But Nugent-Hopkins 5-on-5 needs to he's got to find a way to be more of an offensive contributor. He just has to. So if you look at it, now I know that historically he's never been great, so I'm not asking him to be great. But he's been this is his worst year. And he's still playing with McDavid a lot. So when they get to the playoffs, you got a guy in your top 6, he's got to be more impactful than that. Yeah, I get that he's on the penalty kill. Great. He does contribute on the power play, sure. But the majority of the game, 50 Oilers, I think, average 52 minutes of 5-on-5 per game. So that's the majority of the game. So you want to make impact in the other ones. I understand it. Actually, Edmonton is now, they're just over because there's, there'll be the odd time where it's even strength. But they play a pure 5-on-5, 50 minutes. So the reason that's down a bit because of, anytime they pull their goalie or the other team pulls their goalie, that's considered even strength, which is odd, but nonetheless it is. It's just not 5-on-5. So they got to find a way to get more. So you look tonight, and he's playing. Now he's in a little bit more of a check-in role. And if you're wondering why Henrique is with Hyman, you can probably look at they're not getting much from Nugent-Hopkins. And I don't know if I expect much to now, but he's got to get rolling. So there you go. 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, would you ever consider Henrique and Nugent-Hopkins swapping when everybody's healthy? So Nuge becomes your third-line center and Henrique is your first-line winger. It's a good question. Henrique is a better finisher, no question. I think Nuge is a better puck distributor, which helps, don't get me wrong. But even when he's distributing the puck, he's not getting a lot of points 5-on-5. But maybe, he helps get the puck out of the zone and, later on it scores, sure. Because he is very good at moving the puck, not only quickly, but accurately. And I'm telling you guys, you get the puck to McDavid in flight more often than not, it's going to turn into a positive. Whether you score, whether you just have extended zone time, the other team obviously doesn't have the puck, bonus. But I think it's fair. And it's funny. I actually had a conversation with Chris Knobloch about that specific thing. Is that something you've looked at? And, he gave me a pretty honest answer. He said, we've considered it, but, he talked about the strengths that Nugent-Hopkins brings, and they're different. He's like the Henrique line, but I'm not surprised that we're seeing Nugent-Hopkins with Janmark and Brown, because here's an opportunity to say, okay, McDavid's out. Henrique's going to play with Hyman because we don't want to move up the Draisaitl line. But if Henrique and Hyman continue to play well, maybe we can try McDavid, Henrique, and Hyman at some point. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. They've tried lots of different combinations because you can always go back to Nugent-Hopkins to play with McDavid. He thinks the game very well. He can move the puck, no problem. But if we're looking for more production from McDavid's left wing, I think it's a valid option. I wouldn't be opposed to it. And knowing Knobloch and what we've seen from him in his time as an Oilers head coach, he's not afraid to try different combinations. So it's a valid question, and it's one that I think I could see them changing, at least trying, not changing, but at least trying in the future. Like, what do you got to lose? The Oilers are a good team, right? They switch their lines all the time. Why wouldn't you try that trio? I don't see why it would necessarily be looked upon as a big negative. it might turn out to be a positive because I think at some point you need more production from your first line left wing spot than what you're getting right now. You got 10 points 5-on-5 all year. 10. It's not good enough. We'll return with one of your favorites. Somebody who gives you the warms and fuzzies. Next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle,
Troll low down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Some might like to play hide and seek or even that Where's Waldo game. But out of sight, out of mind is never something GS Construction ever says. Yes, what's underground might be out of sight for everyone, but it's never out of mind for GS Construction because it's not fun and games ensuring Edmonton's underground infrastructure works for you. We take our job very seriously, and even though we may look like we're pretending to be groundhogs, we're really keeping things running smoothly. To find out more, including new job opportunities, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Elevate your game with the Basketball Show, hosted by me, Paul Sir. Tune in Saturday mornings at 10 for expert insights, exclusive interviews, and the latest hoops action. It happens right here on Sports 1440.
It's a new year, and the Brick is clearing out their old inventory. They're blowing out furniture for up to 60% off the original price. With in-stock items ready to go and additional unadvertised discounts, check out your nearest Brick location to save up to $1,300 off sofas, up to 25% off bedroom and dining, and up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, more deals in every department. Some exclusions apply. The Brick, saving you more.
When was the last time your electricity and natural gas provider made you feel like this? Low rates, no strings attached, year-round perks, and local energy experts who always have your back. With Encore by Epcor. Find that carefree energy feeling at encore.epcor.com/carefree.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822 toll-free.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Penn Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.422. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. We roll through lovely Thursday afternoon on the Jason Gregor Show. PlayAlberta.ca. It is Thursday. Guess what that means? The Daily Grand, my favorite game that I've yet to win, but I'd like to. $1,000 a day for the next 20 years, over $7.2 million. Now you can take a lump sum, I get it, but it's not as fun as just getting that grand every day. Just knowing you wake up, well, I've done nothing today, but I've just got $1,000. Perfect. I love it. Let's get to our big guest of the day now, brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints, who are very excited as their new home rink is getting closer to being finished, hoping February or March they could move into the new arena. But of course, right now you can see the Saints at the Grant Fuhr Arena. And every time the Saints have a home game, they also have a 50-50. And you can, whether you're there or not, you can support it at saints5050.com. We welcome in the host of Oilers Hockey, Gene Principe. Joins us. Gino, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm thinking tonight things could get a little Deborah Harry between Edmonton and Vancouver, considering what happened last time.
It would sure be nice, Gene. Like, why don't you and Murph just like throw down in the lead in to get things
I don't
going?
like my chances. I don't like, honestly, I think the last time and I'm one of those guys that when I watch hockey, I don't mind a spirited scrap. I don't like to see anybody get, beat badly, because that always leaves me feeling uncomfortable to know that someone, just sometimes they get knocked out, right? We've seen that, or something really bad. But I don't, last time I had a fight literally was grade 5. And Murph's he's younger than me, and I know he's stronger than me because I've seen him work out. So I wouldn't like my chances. I don't think I'd make it through the opening without having to tap out.
Did you ever did you ever get into fisticuffs as a young Gene Principe?
You know what? Not really, but I can remember a few times, and I know you were at my 50th and heard some old stories. I do remember a few times getting out of trouble thanks to my friends, and I honestly, I think it wasn't so much I was looking for a fight. I just couldn't shut my mouth, and sometimes when that happens, you know what that leads to.
Yeah.
When you're out and about, and you're 18 or 19 or 20, and you're out at different nightclubs and bars. So, but yeah, I've been lucky enough to kind of stay away from that. I always, tell my, particularly, well, not just my sons, in fact, my daughter as well, but my oldest son, he's like 6'5", he's a big guy, and I said, listen, I don't want you in any fights if you're helping your friends or defending friends, and that. I understand that, but otherwise walk away. I don't care if it's someone who's 5'6", 5'10", 6. I don't really care who it is. Just get away from it. I'll walk away and don't get involved. So we're not big on the fisticuffs in the Principe family. I could tell you that much.
Now, Gino, I know you're a very passionate football fan, aka soccer in North America. Have you ever been suspended, or were you more of the, or you did? What'd you get suspended for?
Yeah.
Illegal tackle?
Well, sort of, nothing. I didn't, it wasn't one of those, punched anyone or anything. Just, in soccer, especially when I refereed, they used to deal with the red card regarding when it was an obvious goal scoring opportunity, the 3 Ds: defenders, direction, and distance. And so as a referee, defenders, how many? Direction, are they going to goal? And distance, are they a foot across half, or are they in the 18-yard area? But yeah, I got some red cards and yellow cards when I played over 35 and then over 45 soccer here in Edmonton. I had a few of my teammates come to my aid because, I'm just I'm kind of chippy and yappy, and then afterwards regret a bunch of the things that I do and say. But sometimes that's too late. So it's funny because practice what you preach. I coach my daughter's soccer team, and they're lovely ladies. Don't get me wrong. There isn't a lot of maintenance in regards to yapping and being chippy and maybe dirty. But the odd time it happens, I want to try and make sure that they don't get themselves into card trouble or any other kind of trouble.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So I was curious. So, maybe you Connor Garland someone, which really, like, the funny part about the Connor Garland thing, like, really, he did nothing. Like, he held a guy. Yeah. Yippee. It's not worthy of retribution. However, in order to stoke the embers of a rivalry, it's like, you don't need to have rational thinking. You can say, you know what? I didn't like how he headlocked him, so I'm going to get my revenge. Like, I think the Oilers, you know what? There's certain games at times. I think the Canucks probably, hey, they know there's not McDavid. They might be more feisty because they're like, hey, if we take a few penalties, we think we can stop their power play. Like, I'm curious what type of energy you think, or is this just going to be a late January uneventful game?
Yeah, I'm curious as well. I think if this was maybe even 10 years ago, I would say there's going to be some fireworks. Certainly 20, 30 years ago, it was guaranteed. It might even happen in warm-up or to start the game. You would start likely your toughest lines, and there might be one or two or three sets of fisticuffs. But now, you look at the Oilers lineup, and there are some guys who can fight and will fight, but necessarily, they don't fight that often. And you look at Vancouver's lineup, and I mean, it's just the teams just aren't really built that way. But I'm not sure. Like I would say, the one thing I would say, yes, the carryover from last game. But if something happens early in this game, and let's say it's Connor Garland, or I'm just going to say Matthias Janmark, or somebody does something that is considered, a bit dirty, too much, over the top, stick work, something where someone goes, okay, that's it. Now I've had enough. Then I think you might find more of a spirited, emotional affair than if we get through the first 5, 10, 15 minutes and it's, forecheck and back check and a hooking penalty and nothing really that physical / violent happens, then I think we're on our way to two teams that are coming off losses, particularly, I mean, the Oilers played really well, but didn't win. When you lose to Buffalo, I hate to say it, and Edmonton's got them next, so you have to be careful. I mean, that's a real low point in the season for a team that is kind of looking at the Sabres as someone that you feel like you should beat. Credit Buffalo. They didn't get beaten, and they're going to try not to get beaten again tonight in Calgary. So I would suggest no, or maybe I would say unlikely, but subject to change once you get on the ice and you start playing.
I've watched John Klingberg now since he signed skating, and the one benefit of McDavid being suspended, although it's a very small benefit, let me clarify that. Him and Klingberg spent a little bit more time on the ice together. They were there later working on different drills, and I saw where they want. And I see them talking because I remember talking to Leon Draisaitl. And when you get a new guy on the team, they're like, certain guys like the puck in different areas of the ice, right? Whether it's down low, I want it here, up here, whatever. And Klingberg and McDavid were working on that for quite a bit of an extensive time after practice. Klingberg, it's only practice. There's no physical play that I've seen yet, but he looks pretty mobile. Everything he talked about and how he feels better, he's looking better. When's your best guess on, does he come back when McDavid comes back, or is it going to be even later than that?
I agree with you. I'm watching him going, this guy looks really good. And I mean, he's played over 600 games, so it's not somebody new. And I must say this too, Jason, you were there and interviewed him that first day. I mean, he seems so energized, and I think it's twofold that he's healthy. I mean, all of us shoot for that every day when we get up, is that we feel good. And it sounds like, after following some of your questions with his answers, that he is finally pain-free. And I think he's maybe realizing how much pain he was in now that he doesn't have it anymore, and how more mobile he is. He talked about not being able to really play his game because he was always worried that he was going to get beaten. He couldn't respond because of the problems with his hips. I know originally Chris, the head coach, Knobloch, said, before the break, which is February 7th, but then today he kind of hinted, next week. So I don't know. I think that he'll skate. He's got tomorrow, Saturday he can skate. Oilers play in the afternoon. Who knows if he comes in Sunday or that's a day of rest. But I think he's pretty close. Like if he doesn't play against Seattle, my guess is it would be, before Toronto and after Seattle. So in the middle there, I would think would be his opportunity to get in. I don't think we're going to have to wait till they go on that road trip and play back-to-backs in St. Louis and Chicago. So I think maybe he's even surprised them a bit at how ready he is to get going. He'd been skating out in the Ontario Hockey League with Brampton, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I credit them giving this guy, an NHLer, a chance to skate with them. I'm sure that's kind of neat for these teenage kids. I'm thinking it's soon, Jason. Like, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is Monday. I think that, you know, and maybe Chris has gone to it a bit lately. The 11-7. Maybe he does that for that game or the first game that John comes back or starts his career with the Oilers to see if what he can handle in case maybe it doesn't go as well. Of course, a game different than a practice, but he looks good. I mean, that smile on Leon's face, I think it was yesterday or the day before when he was asked about Klingberg in the lineup. I mean, he didn't need to say a word. Like, you just looked at that smile. You got this puck-moving, mobile, offensive-minded defenseman who I'm sure will be going from point A to point B with some incredible passes. This is a big pickup for Edmonton. I think that, you know, John is you know, the name is familiar. People would know him, but I think he's got one of those games that maybe people won't appreciate till they see it 3-4 times a week. But I think the players know who he is for sure, and he's going to really add a dimension to Edmonton that they need and want.
Gino, great stuff, man. We will see you at the rink. Have yourself a wonderful
great. Day. Take care, Jason.
There you go. That's Gene Principe from Rogers Sports. And at this point, I want to see Klingberg. And obviously, the first game, now the first game, he might be great because you got a bunch of adrenaline pumping through you and to be fired up because he hasn't played a game since November 11th, 2023. Right, we're over 14 months at this point, so I'm just curious to see what he brings. I fully expect his first game in to play with nerves. However, I won't be surprised if, let's say, Klingberg plays well and he looks good. I won't be shocked if they play him with Nurse, but then they also swap him and Bouchard at times and play Klingberg with Ekholm, because Klingberg and Nurse of the four are the two best skaters. And so to add a little bit more speed on each pairing, it's something that they could consider. And I know how Paul Coffey and Chris Knobloch think, and we've seen it before. They're not afraid that they'll try different combinations. Might only be for a game or two, just in case, and then they'll go back. So I think if Klingberg gets up to speed and looks good, don't be surprised at all to see him and Ekholm play together at some point as well. We'll return. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can always text us, 833-401-1440. And our inbox, your partner in power since 1975. For all your electrical gear, go to EWEL.ca.
Just when the weather is freezing your nosy, someone's got a new menu that's tasty and cozy. What? It's Booster Juice. Now you can warm up and chow down with a savory selection of grilled fresh favorites. Breakfast wraps, chicken wraps, grilled cheese, steak, and chicken paninis. Topped with melty cheese, creamy pesto, spicy chipotle, grilled fresh options made in-house, warm and delicious. Made daily with the finest ingredients. Cozy comfort food at Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Sunday, February 9th. The biggest game of the year. It's on 30 TVs.
Only at On the Rocks. Join host Ryan Jesperson at OTR's Rock and Bowl Super Party.
Tickets only $30 and include
guaranteed seating,
a team t-shirt,
prepaid moosehead,
and an all-you-can-eat tailgate buffet.
Plus prizes each quarter.
One person will take home $1,000 at the end of the game.
Touchdown! Rock and Bowl Super Party, February 9th.
Tickets at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Attention drivers, it's the midwinter tire clearance sale at Fountain Tire. Right now, you can save up to 20% off all in-stock winter tires. That's right, premium brands, unbeatable safety, and incredible savings. But don't wait, this sale ends March 8th. And once they're gone, they're gone. Contact your local Fountain Tire for complete details.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet every week all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick. We're saving you more. That's what they like to do. And right now, of course, they have their store-wide inventory clear out going on. They're making room for their 2025 stock. It's the best time to get a great deal, 60% off clearance items, save up to $1,300 off sofas and more at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, let's get a prediction for tonight's game. We're talking score and mix in a little bold prediction as well.
Well, I'd love it to be more offensive, but I think we have another 3-2 game tonight, and the Oilers find a way to win.
Anything bold?
Oh, yeah. There is going to be an unexpected tilt of 2 combatants who normally don't fight.
All right. I like it. I'm hoping for that as well. I'll take Oilers getting the win. I'm going to stick with my 4-2 prediction from last game with an empty netter. Bold prediction. Noah Phillips scores a goal. That's my bold prediction for this one. Question number 2. We kind of talked about it already, but some people talking about revenge for Connor Garland. Do you think this is necessary at all? And I'll ask you this. If someone were to approach him, do you think he'd be willing to even drop the mitts?
Depends who. Someone in the right weight class, sure. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's necessary to happen. But I don't want rational thought process tonight. In a rivalry, it's like, we feel you wronged us. We're going to pay. I'd be all for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'd love to see it. I hope your bold prediction comes true. Don't think it's necessary. Thought it was a clever move by Connor Garland to ensure 2 points. And hey, it's been great for us. Something to talk about these last couple of days here. So I liked it. Don't think any revenge is necessary at all. Question number 3. The NFL award finalists came out today. The MVP conversation has 5 options, but I think we got to admit it's down to Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. So between those two, who would be your pick and why?
Man, that's a great question. I've looked at all the numbers. Lamar Jackson had a season that no quarterback's ever had before. That's why he would be my choice. He's done, no one's passed for, had that few of interceptions and that many passing yards and that many touchdowns. I'm taking him. And throw in all the rushing yards. I'm taking Lamar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's obviously a bad answer here. Both these teams without these players would be in rough shape, but I'm going to lean towards Josh Allen. He had a few of those big games on prime time, which I think the voters will remember. The game against the Rams, even though they lost, and doing so maybe with a little bit less talent, and also lots of games where he was pulled out in the fourth quarter. I think that could also weigh into things. So I'm going Josh Allen, but my God, it's one hell of a race. If it's a co-MVP year, I wouldn't even argue with it. This has been that good with these 2 players. Question number 4. This offseason for the Blue Jays. What letter grade would you give it?
Go ahead.
To me, it's another underwhelming Santander. Okay, not bad. Not rocking my socks by any means with this one. So the Blue Jays, C-. I don't know. I just think they're in a situation where if everything goes perfect and all their players play to their best capability, maybe a wild card team. But that's not going to happen. It never happens. There's always going to be lulls in the season. So I think the Jays are just stuck in a situation with perpetual, what's the right term here? Averageness. They're just going to be a bland, boring baseball team that finishes slightly under 500. Not good enough to get top draft picks, and not bad enough to get top draft picks. Not good enough to make the playoffs.
When I look at the Blue Jays, well, I don't see them as I don't see them as a playoff team. What I don't really get about the Jays is I don't discount that they got involved in some of the big names, but I think they don't recognize they're a pawn most of the time, right? And the guy they just signed is the guy who has the most question marks. So sure, he'll get big money to them because it's almost like, well, hey, I want the biggest money and you guys are willing to pay and you're kind of desperate. And, I hope I'm wrong. But I don't trust their management style and the decisions they've made lately that make them remotely a playoff team. I just don't. They seem more interested in building a better ballpark than a better team.
Yeah. Can't deny.
And my grade would be a C.
Final question for you. We've got some wrestling going on, some more Love Wrestling at the Oil Kings game, presented by Sports 1440. Tickets $20 if you get through our section. We can provide the info if you want it. That being said, you could have any two wrestlers in history square off. WWE, WCW. You can even go some of those Stampede. Who would be the two wrestlers you're selecting?
Oh, it's a great question. Yeah. So, well, I'm gonna go from two different wrestling eras of my life. So I'm gonna put in the Cuban Assassin from Stampede Wrestling days because I just thought he was a fantastic heel. He always he was entertaining to me. I liked him, and so I'm gonna put him up against. He's got to go to smaller guy. Rey Mysterio.
Good pick. I loved Rey Mysterio. That was probably my guy growing up, watching him in WCW, like Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho and all those guys.
Okay.
Give me all time. Well, how about the bad guy? Razor Ramon taking on another one of my favorites, The Undertaker. I'm sure they fought in history, but Razor Ramon was awesome. Loved how he'd come out with the toothpick, throw it at the camera, embrace being the heel, which almost made him cool and did make him cool. And then The Undertaker, peak Undertaker, coming out with like Paul Bearer and such.
Oh, man, you could have some great... Hey, by the way, we've had a few people wonder, do we get the audio running on our YouTube?
Yeah. It's
okay,
back.
Perfect. It is fun to answer that question from different generations because, wrestling, obviously, the training nowadays is obviously way better and there's things, the advancements they've had and everything. But the sport itself, like when you look at hockey now, it's changed a lot compared to the style of game. The game used to be a lot more physical, a lot more rough. And, we talk about the equipment changes, everything. Sure. I'm sure the nutrition, obviously, for wrestlers has improved a lot. All the treatments and everything they get. But you had heels and you had fan favorites back in the day, and they did some pretty ridiculous moves. You go back to Mankind was nuts in some of the things he did over the years, and so I think you might be able to have like guys in similar weight classes that could transfer a little bit easier, just because I guess. There's probably someone who's a much deeper wrestling fan than I, but I don't know if the nuances have changed as much in how you play the game compared to how you play hockey, right? Because that's more entertainment, whereas hockey's a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you could have it. I think it could work, which would be awesome. And I would think you would have, a lot of guys who would have an opinion on who you would want. Hey guys, Mr. Perfect versus Rick Rude. Ooh, Mr. Perfect. Like that was
his sports promos were great.
Oh my God, weren't they awesome? Right? Like
throwing the football to himself.
Oh, but just like how it was funny because you could have this personality just be so cocky and so confident. It's like, God, it was great. Oh man, would love it. Hey guys, what about Mucka Singh and the Ultimate Warrior? Ooh, I think the Ultimate Warrior would throttle him. Mucka Singh wasn't necessarily the most mobile, right? Mucka Singh would probably need like a bigger, kind of less mobile type of guy, I would think. So, oh man, there'd be some good ones. Whew. Jericho versus 80s Macho Man. Yeah, ooh, that's not bad. Bill Cream rises to the top. If Struddy's listening, if he's listening right now, he's instantly doing his one-line Macho Man impression that he loves to do. He is. 100%. Hey, guys, Andre the Giant versus the Big Show when they're both in their prime. Oh, good one. Those are some two huge men. Oh, man. That would be awesome.
How about Thaddeus Archer III versus Kevin Karius?
KK, she's like a young KK. Like now, man, like he might need a cane to get in the ring.
That could be a shtick.
Yeah,
and he pops him with the cane.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, guys, I'm going Ultimate Warrior versus Goldberg. Oh, yeah. Now, that one I could get for. Right, like, Goldberg wasn't definitely the best technical wrestler by any stretch of the imagination, right? But he had a good presence, strong, like, had a huge trap. Still, he probably had the biggest traps ever in WWE that I can think of. But, yeah, that'd be a good one. Like, I still think, like, I love the Ultimate Warrior's entrance. Like, he would just sprint down. Like, he gets you all. I loved it. It was so simple. Didn't say much, but he's just sprinting. Oh, God, it was good.
See, that was going to be my next question because I loved Goldberg's entrance. Coming out, music playing.
That would make it great, yeah.
Security. Who had the best entrance? Is it Ultimate Warrior for you?
Well, for me, yes.
Yeah.
But I can easily see it. That's going to be such a personal choice for people. But I love and he gets on there, he's freaking down on the top rope, and his face painted. And it also helped because he had the real flamboyant, fluorescent color, the armbands and stuff. Like, it just made it awesome, right? The long hair, so good. Hey, guys, Abdullah the Butcher versus Iron Sheik. Lots of biting and salt in the eyes from Honest Joe. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Hey, guys, best entrance has to be Stone Cold with the glass breaking gold. Yeah, Stone Cold is pretty good. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't watch a ton in the prime of Stone Cold. It just wasn't a time in my life where I was big into it. Was he a good technical wrestler? He was just a great showman. Like what? And same with The Rock, right? Like The Rock was the best I think I've ever seen on the mic. I felt he was the best on the mic that I've seen. But how were they as technical wrestlers?
That'd be a good question.
Yeah.
Stone Cold would just get the crowd going because like he was the badass, but Vince McMahon was hated and he was his number one enemy. So everyone loved Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And then when he'd come in and just drop like 17 stunners in a row, peak wrestling right there, Gregor.
Yeah.
Nobody could ever avoid it. That kick to the gut. You were done.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Kick to the gut. Oh, yeah. There's like some of the finishing moves are so classic too, eh?
Bret Hart's getting a lot of love here. The sharpshooter. Love that one.
Oh, well, for finishing moves. Yeah, 100%. So, hey, boys, both pretty good technically. They weren't Bret Hart, though, but we're far better than Hogan. Hulk was in like Hulkamania was legit, though. Right? When he'd come in and then he'd rip the yellow shirt and everyone would just go nuts. Like, how fake and baked was he? Or was it like, he must have been like Kramer in the, you remember when Kramer fell asleep and, Newman's out there and he wants to almost eat him because he's roasting? Like, that's what Hulk looked like. Right. And sadly, Hulk's kind of embarrassed himself later in his life. But at his peak, he might have been, I think at his peak, was there anything bigger than Hulkamania in wrestling?
Good question. Really good question.
Like, I'm trying to think, Stone Cold at his peak, The Rock at their peak, were they bigger than Hulk? It's a good question. I don't know how to gauge it, but man, like Hulkamania was so massive.
Because he was like, just talking in terms of like advertisements, things like that. He had everything, right?
Yeah.
Like you could get everything Hulkamania branded. So different times, but I think he would be.
Hey, boys, remember Jake the Snake biting Macho Man? Unreal. Like some guy, like I know there are people that are have a huge phobia of snakes, but I'd love how the guys would act it up like, oh my God, I'm so scared of the snake. Oh, guys, I can't believe someone mentioned Rick Rude. He was so hilarious. Remember his pants, right? And then it's just the hip thrusting. You have the ladies all just melting. God, it was so cheesy, but so good. That's what was like. That's what at sports sometimes I think needs to take certain pages from wrestling because they were the best at the hype machine. They could hype it up, right? And they created heels. Like the NHL. Like who's a heel right now today? Matthew Tkachuk. Like is Brad Marchand even a heel anymore? Like in his not to the prime. Like prime Marchand was a great heel. But who's the heel today? Outside of Matthew Tkachuk. Is there one? I think the lead, you need a few heels. They just do. I think it'd be better. And I think, sports hype up certain games. Now, I know the NHL would never do it, but tonight could have been a great example. We're suspending McDavid and Myers one game, and they both come back and play tonight. The hype leading up to this game would have been amazing. And you know what? You don't even need to deliver on the hype. We see it all the time. Well, look at politics, number one. They just make a bunch of BS and claims all the time and never come true. But it gets people talking. Everybody's all fired up about it. But you look at, a lot of the hype trains in UFC, flops. People forget about it, whatever. I think the NHL could learn a little bit about building up the hype train a little bit more. I think it would be good. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. You can get hyped for their grilled fresh food options, the breakfast wraps, chicken wraps, grilled cheese, steak paninis, and more. Visit Booster Juice or download the Boosters Reward app and get one today.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Just over 2 hours till puck drop as the Oilers host the Vancouver Canucks down at Rogers Place. We've got pregame coverage for you at 6 o'clock with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson right here on Sports 1440. Couple games just about to get going. Bruins, Sens, Red Wings, Canadians, Flyers in New York to take on the Rangers. Hurricanes host the Jackets at 6. The Golden Knights in St. Louis. Wild hosting Utah at 7. Flames, Sabres. Then at 8 o'clock, you got the Ducks, Penguins, Caps, Kraken, and 8:30 Sharks taking on the Preds. In the association, we had one game already finished over in Paris. Spurs beating up on the Pacers 140-110. Victor Wembanyama with 30 points, 11 rebounds in the victory. Tonight, the Raptors take on the Hawks in Atlanta. You also have the Heat, Bucks, Thunder, Mavericks, Kings up against the Nuggets, Warriors host the Bulls, and the Celtics take on the Lakers. Bayern Munich star Alphonso Davies suffered a muscle strain in his left hamstring on Wednesday. Davies left a 3-0 loss late in the first half with the injury. Back in December, he missed 2 games with a torn muscle fiber. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Sportsnet host Ken Reed. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
We believe that great projects start from the ground up. Well, to be accurate, great projects start from the underground up. We're GS Construction, and from pipes to drainage systems, we're always laying the groundwork for a better future for Edmonton. While the month of January may be slow for some, GS Construction is gearing up for a busy year ahead, preparing to build, repair, and replace tons of infrastructure to keep your systems running smoothly. To find out more, including new job opportunities, visit gsconstruction.ca.
It's a new year, and The Brick is clearing out their old inventory. They're blowing out furniture for up to 60% off the original price, with in-stock items ready to go and additional unadvertised discounts. Check out your nearest Brick location to save up to $1,300 off sofas, up to 25% off bedroom and dining, and up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, more deals in every department. It's a new year, and The Brick is clearing out their old inventory. Exclusions apply. The Brick, saving you more.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Hair Aware with Dr. Vance Elliott.
Hey, Doc, I really want my hair restoration to fly under the radar, but I recently read that men have to shave their heads and go full Lex Luthor before treatment.
The majority of my patients don't require head shaving because we can work around it. I can perform a no-shave FUE transplant or an FUT transplant if we determine that a transplant is necessary. Let's discuss your options.
Trust a world-renowned expert in hair restoration. Book an appointment at drvanceelliott.com today.
Edmonton, step up your shoe game. The all-new Skechers store is now open at West Edmonton Mall. Don't miss our grand opening event with great deals. 30% off all Skechers footwear and 50% off apparel. Spend $100 or more and get a free performance water bottle while supplies last. From performance shoes to stylish sneakers, we've got it all for the entire family. Your perfect pair of Skechers awaits at West Edmonton Mall. Skechers at West Edmonton Mall. Grand opening week happening now. Come in today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, man. Opening shift. Play this tune. Get people fired up. Have a little fun. Oh, man. That was if, And you know what? Doesn't mean there has to be a fight. Just want some emotion. You want some hits. Get it on. It would be great. These two teams met in the playoffs. There should be some animosity. Get to it. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta at PlayAlberta.ca. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. You can always get involved in the text line, 833-401-1440. We got loads and loads of texts coming in on the topic of which two wrestlers from any era would you like to see go head-to-head? Oh, it'd be great. Oh, we got a lot of good ones. We'll circle around back on that in a second. But first, we're going to get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. You probably see them around digging holes in trenches and neighborhoods throughout the Edmonton area. Well, guess what? Did you know that most of our underground utilities are past their useful life and are starting to fail, as we see in Calgary? So they provide a little rehabilitation to keep things working and hopefully not slowing down like in Calgary. That's GS Construction, as Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, you get two wrestlers, any era. I don't care if it's WWE, WCW, Stampede Wrestling. If a Mark Spector could put your dream wrestling matchup together, who would it be?
Oh, boy. So you're talking to a guy who grew up watching Stampede Wrestling and hasn't watched a wrestling match in 30 years.
All right. Well, then you can pick two old guys. That's fine.
So if I'm picking two wrestlers, it's probably my favorite matchup back in the day was when Dan Crawford would wrestle Archie the Stomper Goldie at the Sales Pavilion with Ed Whalen, and presided over by the guy that ran the whole show, Stu Hart, none of the Hart boys, the granddaddy of them all, Stu Hart. That's it, man. Archie the Stomper and Dan Crawford.
Ooh, old school. I like it. Archie the Stomper, great name too, by the way. Fantastic name. I don't think we're gonna have any Royal Rumbles by any stretch of the imagination tonight. It's too bad, but I look at the orders, and you know what? They haven't lost 3 in a row since the first 3 games of the season. They've been a really pretty consistent team since then. So I think they take pride in the fact they didn't play bad against Washington really overall, but they didn't get the win, and now they've lost 2 in a row. And then you got a Canucks team who's, you know, coming off a brutal loss to the Buffalo Sabres. Their coach used the D word 3 different times. So, you know, both teams should have some juice, Spec. I don't know if it leads to that type of game, but I sure hope it does.
There will be juice in the game, and that juice is a word, you know, I used in my notebook today. Everyone, that's sort of a word that hockey people use that is all encompassing, right? Juice can be animosity. Juice can be 2 teams fighting for the same playoff spot. Juice can be whatever's left over from a playoff series last year. You know, it's a Thursday night in the middle of January. This game will have more juice than most on the schedule will tonight. So, you know, juice today isn't what juice used to be. We're not going to see 4 separate scraps here tonight. I'd be surprised if we see 1. And frankly, the only guys that did anything of any violence in the game the other night are both not playing, McDavid and Myers. So this whole thing about Garland, like, come on, give me a break. You know, no, I don't think anyone with a half a hockey brain thinks that someone owes Connor Garland a punch in the head. Do we think that? Does anyone think that?
No, Spec, but don't rationalize with me. I want to rationalize on process, okay? I want to see a little emotion, get people riled up. You know, pull a Michael Jordan. Because pretend you're offended. Make up a reason to be offended. Yeah, Connor. Oh, hey, I know the refs are gonna. Because what? Like Garland was very honest. He goes, "Hey, he's the best player in the game. I know I'm gonna get away with it. Refs probably aren't gonna call it." Like it was smart. Don't get me wrong. So you know what? Get a bantamweight rooster out there. Troy Stetcher. I don't care. Somebody like to me. I just think it would be awesome. Like I'll tell you right now, if there was anybody who wanted to become a fan favorite, even though all the Oilers fans know Garland did nothing that's like physically wrong. Right? You know that. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to him if Stetcher picked one of those guys in that weight class, got Garland to fight him tonight, he would automatically ratchet himself up in Oilers fandom. He just would.
Well, we haven't had a hate on for a 5'7" guy like this since Theo Fleury used to come to town, I'd say.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And I don't even think people have a hate on for him.
They don't.
But they'd be like, you know what? I know he shouldn't have done it. I just like that he did it. That would be the mindset.
I want to say this: they're entertainers down there, and there is a time when they played like it. You know, there was a time when you'd take this small seed of perceived animosity and use it to entertain the crowd. Use it to have something happen. So Connor Garland gets in a scrap with Troy Stetcher. No one's going to get killed here, right? Both guys are going to get taps from their teammates, and they're going to get 5 minutes. The crowd's going to get a cheer. Everybody's going to be happy. So, yeah, you know what? You're right. Like, it's the entertainment business. It'd be nice if these guys went out there and entertained us a little bit, don't you think?
Oh, God, yeah. Like, it's it'd be fun, and that's what it's about. And, you know, some nights the entertainment, it's going to be tic-tac-toe and goals, and you're just like, oh, my goodness, an end-to-end rush. That's awesome. But sometimes it's just a little, you know, you get into the Coliseum and the theater, right? And sometimes I think that's what made hockey so great for the longest time, is it had different levels of emotion to really pull out the emotion of the fans, right? The fans would come out of their seat as much for a tic-tac-toe end-to-end play as they would for a big hit or a scrap.
No, the thing that we forget, and you're bringing to my memory today, is the thing about fighting. And I can listen to all the bad things about fighting in the NHL and what we know about concussions today, what we didn't know, all that stuff. But when you went to a game, you didn't know how you would be entertained, but there were certainly more avenues for it, right? It might be a bunch of great goals. It might be a bunch of scraps. It might be a really hard-hitting regular season game where Rafi Torres is blowing people up. You know, they've eliminated the Rafi Torreses from the game. There's barely any hitting anymore. They've taken fighting out of the game. So, honestly, there's so many games now, Jay, if they don't score some pretty beautiful goals, you walk away and you go, nah, the game was all right. But I didn't really get entertained, right? So, it's the paying customer, and I'm not one of them, but it's the paying customer that's kind of, their avenues of entertainment aren't what they once were.
Yeah. It's just, it's different, but it doesn't mean that it has to be less. And so,
still love the game, and it still entertains me for sure.
Yeah, but you know that you're always looking to improve, right? They're always looking to improve, and sometimes, like I said, Spec, nowadays, as I've been watching how social media and everything works and gets people excited or fired up, whatever, the hype train. You need more of the hype than you necessarily even need the great result.
Yeah,
right. Like lots of NFL games are duds, and they're still watched by everybody, right? Because they get a feeling, but it's true, right? Look at UFC cards, and they hype the hell out of certain cards, and they're dud. And guess what? 3 months later, they hype, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be great," and then doesn't live up to it. Oh well, maybe the next one will. And so you could have hype machine a little bit more in the NHL, especially when you got that many games. You hype it up in the NHL could have easily built their own hype train here. They could have just said McDavid, Myers each get one game. Now, do I think there'd be a lot of guys on Vancouver that are suddenly going to try to get McDavid to fight? No. Are there a lot of guys in Edmonton that are going to fight Tyler Myers? Just maybe two, right? But it would be more the hype machine and everybody talking about it leading up to it. And Oilers fans, I got to watch that game on Thursday just in case something happens. And all the Canucks fans would. And then there'd even be fans who are hockey fans outside of both markets who'd be like, well, I got to tune into that thing. I want to see what's coming. Because I can tell you, I know Oilers fans, when there's certain games that are hyped up around the league, oh, here's a rivalry rematch. Geez, I might have to tune in for that one for a period or two. It's just how it is.
No, I agree. I think, who knows where it goes? I don't I think the NHL just went the other direction, didn't they? They took the guy that gives them the most hype out of anybody, their very best player, and they tacked an extra game on a suspension for him that they didn't need to do. And not only did they take Myers and McDavid out of this game, they took them both out of the next game too, which, everything you're talking about, Jay, about a league that realizes it's in the entertainment business, that realizes where it has its best entertainment and how best to exploit it and use it and entertain people and sell tickets, right? Sell tickets. They went against the grain on every one of those when they suspended Connor McDavid 3 full games for a little cross-check that, as someone said to us yesterday, we came out of that fracas. The only thing the only mark that got left in that whole fracas is a little tiny cut on Evan Bouchard's chin. And we got 6 games worth of suspension out of the whole thing. Why was it any games of suspension is what people want to know sometimes, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. Totally could be. Mark Spector joins us here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Corey Perry moves up. Jeff Skinner was there for a bit. It didn't last very long. And I don't know that everybody, he's going to get a look. He ain't going to get a look. If Jeff Skinner's going to help the Oilers in the playoffs, it's going to be in a bottom 6 role.
Yeah. I always say with coaches, they can't always tell you the truth in the media. I get it. I'll never call a coach a liar. There's usually a reason why they're not telling you the full truth. And Chris Knobloch isn't telling us the full truth on his thinking around Jeff Skinner. But I will say to you that you don't need to ask. I don't need to hear Chris Knobloch's words, Jason. I'm watching his actions, right? And his actions tell me that this player is not playing in his top 6 unless he's completely desperate for top 6 players. There was a chance to put him on the power play the other night. He used Arvidsson. There's a chance to put him in the top 6 the other night. He didn't do it. He has many opportunities in games during, they move people around in games. Chris Knobloch is real good at it. One move he never makes is number 53 going up to a top line. So, you know what? It's not there. It ain't there for Skinner. With this coach on this team, does that change? I guess anything can change, but at this moment, what you said is absolutely correct. If he's going to help this team, he better figure out how to do it from the bottom of the roster.
And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was looking at his numbers. I knew he wasn't having the greatest year 5-on-5. I didn't know. I was looking up today. He's on pace for his worst ever 5-on-5 season in his career. Yes, his points per 60 is 0.98. The lowest in his career was 1.12. He's on pace for 18 5-on-5 points, and he's played away from Connor McDavid in 262 minutes. He has a grand total of 2 points 5-on-5.
Wow.
He's got to find a way. And I know that points aren't everything, but they're a big part of the game, and they need more. Your first line left winger has to give you a little bit more than what he's given them so far this season offensively.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. What did he have last year?
30 last year, 39 the year before.
Okay, and didn't he have 104 points last year?
Yeah, no, but I was just, that was 2 years ago. I was just talking 5-on-5 points.
2 years ago. Yes, I know. But my point is, it's a far cry from the totals he put up 2 years ago when he had 104 points. I don't know what to tell you. He's really fallen into a role where the offense gets produced on that line by 97 and 18, and he's kind of the other guy. I'm sure he does a lot of things. Maybe maybe there's a little bit of the same dynamic we see with Podkolzin helping Draisaitl to have his best year he's had in forever, but we don't necessarily see it in the score sheet. I'm sure that McDavid would tell you Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, helps him and Hyman to get the points they get, but whatever, man, you're making $5 million. You're on the top line. There's got to be more to it than those numbers you just stated. I'm not sure. I don't see much difference in his game. He looks like the same player to me, but the stats don't point to that, do they?
No. And here's the thing. Podkolzin has 19 5-on-5 points. 4th on the orders. Nuge has 10, and he is currently 15th, tied with Janmark.
And he plays every minute pretty much with McDavid at even strength.
About 65% of his 5-on-5 time is with McDavid, but and he hasn't played very much at all. He's only played 30 minutes with Draisaitl, but it's away from McDavid where you got to find ways to to contribute a little bit more, and he just hasn't done it. And so, you like the Oilers could win. I honestly believe if the Nugent-Hopkins Janmark Brown line scores a goal tonight, I think the Oilers win, because they just doesn't give you a lot of offense, and that would be a huge win if they do.
Well, they put together a couple goals in the road trip I was just on. I forget what town we were in. Was it in Chicago? A couple of key goals his line put together. I don't remember if he had points on them, but I remember writing that line scored I think it was a 5-3 win, and they scored the third and fourth goals. So it's been there, but you know what? Tonight's it's a bit all hands on deck. Like, I always say this. We've seen it numerous times. The first game without Connor McDavid is always Edmonton's most clunky game. It's like they've kind of, like the power play is a metaphor, I think, for this, Jay. When Chris Knobloch said today that they were standing around, they're standing around because it's McDavid that gets that power play moving around. He's the one that takes the puck and takes it downhill and gets everyone moving into position. So it always takes a while for the Oilers to figure out how to operate without McDavid. I'm not feeling sorry for them. They got the best player in the world. Everybody loses a good player. That's not the point here. The point is, when you have a team that is run in so many facets by one guy, when he's not there, it just takes some time to figure out how to get your team to run the right way. And I'll bet you offensively, they're a lot better tonight than they were against Washington. I'd almost guarantee it, because that's the history around here.
Well, potentially. You know what? Hey, Draisaitl, though, 4 games without McDavid, he has 8 points. He has 4 goals, 4 assists. No surprise. He's shown no difference with McDavid in or out of the lineup. That just shows you how good Draisaitl has been this year.
This isn't a high-scoring Vancouver team. You don't need to get to 6 tonight, right? I believe they have the least shots per game in the league, if I'm not mistaken. You got to get to 3, maybe 4. It's going to be enough against this Vancouver team.
Yeah, they're 25.3. They're 31st. Chicago is slightly below them at 25.1. So yeah, they don't get a lot of shots, Beck, and so the Oilers obviously generate quite a few. The Canucks also don't give up a lot, though. They are 7th best in shots against. Right, so they're 8th. They're pretty low event team, right? Whereas the Oilers actually only allow the 4th fewest shots in the National Hockey League. Meanwhile, though, unlike Vancouver, Edmonton gets a lot of shots, as they are tied with Carolina for first. So they get a lot of shots.
It's something I'm hearing in Vancouver, like, just the fans and people around the game, it's a low event hockey team. And let's face it, if you're going to lose games, you'd rather lose exciting games. They aren't playing exciting hockey, at least from listening to people in that market, and your stats back it up, Jay. There's some talent on that team. They got some talent. They should be an entertaining team to watch. I guess the problem is when all your best guys aren't scoring, you can get boring pretty quick.
Yeah, no, oh my goodness, 100%. Spec, enjoy the game tonight.
All right, Jay, we won't see you there. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you betcha, my man. That's Mark Spector in the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Quick break. We'll return. We got lots more hockey talk to get to here on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise, with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Mitchell Allen Auction's public unreserved heavy truck auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m., featuring tandem and single-axle trucks, including cab and chassis, box and hoists, diggers, day cab and highway tractors, man lifts, pickers, plows, and van bodies. Info at maauctions.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Papa John's would like to say thank you to their pizza-loving customers. Take 40% off any pizza this week using code TY40 at papajohns.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.526. We return on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely Thursday afternoon. And we are going to talk hockey. And our next guest, he's going to have an opinion on what our conversation earlier last hour when we asked your dream wrestling matchup. Any era. I don't care if guys were in Stampede Wrestling, WWE, WWF, WCW, doesn't matter. Whichever one you want. If you could pin 2 wrestlers at any point, head to head, who would your 2 be? Ken Reed from Sportsnet joins us. Reader, who would be your dream wrestling matchup?
Oh man, that's a crazy question. You know what? When I was a kid, we had Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, which was our territory. And Leo Burke was the man. And he wrestled out in Stampede as a heel a lot of times. I know he used to wrestle Bret Hart a lot. And Leo was kind of our Hulk Hogan. So we'd watch Leo and then we'd watch Hulk Hogan. I want Hulk Hogan against Leo Burke. There you go. That's my dream wrestling match.
Leo Burke. Wow, you're pulling a name out of there. Whew.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the baby face of the Maritimes when he'd come home in the summer. It was a summer tour. And then he'd go wrestle in, Maple Leaf Wrestling, and he'd go wrestle in Stampede. And I know he wrestled Bret a lot when Bret was young. So I'd go Leo Burke against Hulk Hogan because they were kind of my 2, baby face heroes when I was a kid.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. We've been talking about, the NHL at times, I don't think does a great job of hyping up games or rivalries, in 2021, and I understand due to COVID and everything else, they would play 2 games against the same team back to back. And to me, it's a fantastic idea. Not only it saves on travel, it saves on, if you want to make your league more green, great, less travel for the players, yada, yada, yada. But it also increases the chance of a little bit more animosity in that second game because something carries over from the first game. And it's never going to get back to bench clearing brawls and stick swinging incidents. We're not there. You don't have enough players to do that. But you could have hype and you could have more interest in it. And the NHL doesn't seem that interested in doing that, Ken.
Nope. And I want hate. I want 2 teams pissed off at one another. I want what we got going on tonight, going into the Vancouver-Edmonton game. Does it mean something's going to happen? No, but I need to know that something may happen.
Exactly.
That's all I want. I want a vibe. I want a buzz. I don't need to see a fight. I just need to know that one could happen.
Yeah, like it's because, the NHL, if they wanted to, and I know they wouldn't, like the minute they said, hey, they're getting suspended, I was like, well, guarantee they're going to get at least 2 games because they don't want them to face each other on Thursday. Sure. And I'm like, they could have given each of them 1. Right. And then they would have played tonight. And it's Connor McDavid. It's Tyler Myers. Neither one of them are pugilists. No, I don't see a lot of guys on either team that, like Vancouver would love to get McDavid to fight him, but it's not part of his game, right? It's not going to happen. But just the buildup would have been infinitely higher.
I want a buzz, man. I want a buzz when I walk into the arena. Like Rick Tocchet said today, these are nobody wants a no-hitter. Those games suck. I want a buzz. Like, that to me, that's what going to a game or turning on a game is all about, is to have that buzz. And it's far too lacking on most nights. And it's far too lacking, I think, because the role of the tough guy has been eliminated. By the way, I hope all the people that are anti-fighting enjoyed those cross-checks to the face the other night in the Edmonton-Vancouver game, because that's why it happened. I'll just put that out there. But I want a buzz, and I'm with you. The back-to-back games, that would be a blast. That was something that they stumbled upon. You're right, during COVID. They should have kept that. I think that was really, really great stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, we just saw Calgary and St. Louis have it, and I think it's happened one or two other times. And like the schedule maker, that was great because Calgary and St. Louis were actually battling head-to-head in a playoff spot. So, the games were good. And I know you can't do it east to west, and that's fine. And I'm not saying all the time, but I'm talking each team does it 3 times a year. It's not a monumental thing. I just think it would be small little things, and fans of the other teams. Oh, geez, second night the Rangers are playing the Islanders or the Devils or something. I don't care who, right? All of a sudden, Florida, Tampa are going second night back to back. More people might tune in.
Absolutely. Gives it a series feel, right?
Yeah.
And you always say in our day, Gregor, it was like take a number. Well, if you took a number, you wouldn't have to wait too long. Then maybe you wouldn't have to fight after a clean hit in the first game, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you could take it for game 2. But yeah, I'm with you. I think little things like that bring back the ill feelings.
The Blue Jays. What do you make of this signing?
God. Oh God. Santander?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll put it this way. When I was in high school, right? Believe it or not, Jason, I actually got a date to the prom. Okay? Everybody gets a date to the prom. If you ask enough people, somebody's eventually going to say yes. The Blue Jays kept asking and asking until they were the only guy left asking, and the only guy left who hadn't been asked yet agreed. Now, Santander's a dandy power hitter. He's got some pop. 44 home runs, over 100 RBIs. Dandy power hitter. Was he the guy they wanted to go to the prom with right away? No. Still going to be a great date. But unfortunately for him, Toronto's going to have to sign Vladdy. They're going to have to do a lot of work. It still does not take the stink off of this smelly offseason for the Blue Jays. And for me, Santander and Atkins and Shapiro and the Blue Jays kind of looked at each other, and they looked around. They go, "Oh, everybody's been asked to the prom. We're the only 2 left. Want to go to the prom together?" Okay, that was the Santander signing for me.
Yeah,
great prom date. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
just kid to take somebody.
Yeah, like I think he was the one who lucked out. He got all his money, and right. And I don't know, like I haven't heard yet, like if other teams were close.
Right. Exactly. Somebody put one on Twitter. I forget who tweeted it out, but LA should have tweeted out after the Santander signing. We were in the hunt on it, just to put it kind of Blue Jays. But what an absolute disaster of an off season. And if they think that this could kind of ease the pain of a lot of Blue Jays fans, they were definitely wrong. I mean, when you sign a guy like Santander, if you signed him 5 years ago, this fan base for the Jays would be going wild. And they're going wild now, but still in the wrong way, right? They're still angry. So
yeah,
it's going to be a long season, man.
Yeah, no reason you don't think they can surprise people. Like I guess they got to stay healthy, and then their starting pitchers are going to have to be great.
Yeah, there's no surprises here, none. And I think it's a veteran group that doesn't necessarily believe in upper management. I think it all goes back to pulling Brios after 3 1/3 for no reason. You got to believe in your players. Sometimes you just got to put the calculator in the spreadsheet away and go, I'm going to believe in the humans more than I am in the calculator. And if you're a player, I think it would be very deflating to know that your front office, and probably a lot of front offices in baseball, but to know that no matter what you do, your front office believes in a spreadsheet more than they believe in you. And you're paying the human. Now you're paying the nerds who operate the spreadsheets a lot less. So why not believe in that human? But that's baseball these days, unfortunately.
Ken Reed from Sportsnet joins us. Speaking of believing, Ken, are you a believer in the Blue Jackets?
It's a great story. It's kind of hard not to. I mean, last night in Toronto was fantastic. Elvis Merzlikins looked great. Fantilli has that game. Mind you, Dennis Hildeby is not near ready to be an NHL goaltender, and I think that showed. Yeah. By the way, I could go on a rant on about how I hate the fact that There's so many great goalies out there who are not getting looks because they're not 6'7", but if you're 6'7", you get a look. I was saying today on our hockey show here in Toronto, in 1996, never then it was all about size for forwards and D. The top 50 picks in the NHL draft, one was under 6 feet tall. It was Daniel Briere. Now it's kind of flipped. And when you're looking at goalies, it doesn't matter how good you are. The first question that's asked is, how big are you? Right. Then are you good? Then can we develop you?
Right.
I think the goaltending position has just been turned on its head. And I think Columbus feasted on that last night, and good for Columbus feasting on that. Yeah, I believe in the Blue Jackets. I mean, it's been what? 40, 45, 50 games. I guess it's time to start believing, right? That's a pretty good benchmark to judge on. And they looked really good last night.
Ken Reed joined, and hey, they're up 2-0 in Carolina tonight. Second half of a back-to-back. Marchenko scores again. Like, man, they're a story. What about the Montreal Canadiens? The Canadiens,
that one,
they are rolling.
That one. I mean, when your team puts out its own TV series called Rebuild, okay, that's the team going, okay, how are we gonna get through this season? Let's make a TV series about how downtrodden and awful we are. And then this happens. I don't know if it's the Patrick Laine effect or something, but that guy is just there's something about a right-handed sniper in a Montreal Canadiens uniform that just looks right. You know, Lafleur, Richer, LaRouche, Laine, it just looks right. And they've been on a tear since he came back, and it's crazy. And you got Ottawa, you got Montreal hovering around those wild card spots. It's fantastic. I think it's great. I'm sure that they're screwing up the plan for the Brass, but hey, if you're winning, what do you do, right? And I mean, again, until they prove me wrong, I think you got to believe in them.
Yeah, they're winning with some young guys too. Obviously, Hudson as a rookie's come in and has been remarkable for them on the back end, and he's playing huge minutes. So
absolutely,
right. I think when they get to the playoffs, you might be worn down, but who cares? They just want to get in.
Could be. And there's a guy, Jason, who going by 30 years ago would never have been given a sniff at the National Hockey League.
Yeah,
not a sniff at that side.
Yeah, that's true.
He'd be Europe somewhere, he'd still be in college hockey, but it's funny how the game goes, It's a copycat league, so now we got small little defensemen, small little forwards getting a chance. But if you're a goalie, you got to be the size of Andre the Giant. So it's funny how it goes. So but yeah, Hudson's that's a talent, man.
Yeah, it is. Now, did you ever watch did you get Stampede Wrestling growing up?
We did not get Stampede Wrestling until we got TSN starting in like 85, 86. And that was when all us kids were introduced to Eddie Whalen. And then we'd see Pro Wrestling Plus and we'd see Stampede. So that's when we started to see Stampede. So I guess, yeah, but from about the time I was 12, 13, we got Stampede.
Okay. So, because I just want to I'll leave you with this one. Well, great matchups. Mucka Singh.
Oh, yeah.
Versus Andre the Giant. And the venue would be the Jubilee Rec Center in Fort Saskatchewan.
After force the walls. By the way, in Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, Mucka Singh was known as Cousin Mike. He would come up and wrestle there. And then he was Bastion Booger at WWF, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, classic. So shout out to Cole Call for that text. I love the Jubilee at the JRC in Fort Saskatchewan. Oh.
Imagine the hang of the body odor in that match.
Oh, God, that is true. Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Well, maybe they have, what is it? Was it Yokozuna? Was that what his name was?
Yokozuna, yeah.
Yeah. God, you throw him in there too. Oof, jeez.
Was it the Fort Saskatchewan Traders?
Oh, yeah, the Traders, buddy. Used to call their games, man. Mac Danilak, big name around the Traders for a long time.
Sweet. I went deep into the deep recess of the mind there. There you go.
Yeah.
40 sports.
Oh, buddy, the Traders were great. Yeah,
the Allen Cup one year I was out there.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that was their senior team that had it, afterwards because the Traders were junior A. Yep. So
there you go. Love it. Yeah,
I like it. Kenny, great stuff, my man. Enjoy the games and the weekend. We'll talk to you again soon. Who you picking in the NFL? Who's going to the Super Bowl?
Oh, I got to stick to this Commanders story because it's kind of funky, and it's going to be Kansas City. Sorry to break the hearts of Bills fans. And shout out to Mucka Singh for the extra small Edmonton Oilers sweatshirt he used to wear to the ring every.
That was great too. I love it. Oh man, so many classic wrestling memories from Stampede, man. It's unreal. Doesn't matter. You can talk so many guys and they'll still remember. It's great.
Everybody's got one.
Yeah, they knew the hype too. I love it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Ed Whalen going wild.
I want somebody. Troy Stetcher can be the Cuban assassin tonight, right? Just come out, have some hidden brass knuckles in the pants.
Have a foreign object?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't that be something?
Oh,
but you know what they got to start doing, though? When you take a high stick, you got to blade yourself and get the 5 minutes, you know? Call Abdullah the Butcher, Ric Flair on it, you know? Of course, then Ed Whalen would leave because it's far too violent.
Yes, exactly. Oh, yeah. He was he was so good. He was I remember being like, he does the Flames games? Like, I was blown away. Blown away.
The guy that does Stampede Wrestling does the Flames game and hosts the sports at 6 o'clock and does spelling bee. What's going on here?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. He was just a man of many talents, old Ed Whalen. It's great.
Awesome. In the meantime, and in between time, my friend.
It's another edition of Stampede Wrestling. Awesome. Thanks, Kenny. Appreciate it, my man.
See you, buddy.
That's Ken Reed from Sportsnet. Oh, I love going down memory lane on Stampede Wrestling. Because tomorrow night, we've been talking about wrestling because tomorrow night, Eddie Steele, the Oil Kings. It's a wrestling night. If you want to go, you can get tickets for only $20, and that includes everything. It's not $20 plus all the others. It's $20 total. So you can go to sports1440.ca right on our main page, and you can get tickets to that and sit in the section. Con Man, Deck, and the gang will all be there. Eddie Steele. He's got a walkout song. He's got it all planned. He didn't want to tell us what it was. So he's ready. He's going to bring the hype tomorrow night. Should be a lot of fun. So check it out. Also a really good game. The Oil Kings are rolling in a pretty good playoff spot, taking on the Moose Jaw Warriors. We'll come back, give you the lineup and more for the orders. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We'll get your text at 833-401-1440.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love, better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Do it. Your vehicle is a big investment. Protect it at Hughes Car Wash. We use only clean, fresh water and the highest quality car wash soap. Hughes Car Wash, the car wash pros.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
A few years ago, I was doing okay, but the rising cost of living has made my credit card bills go through the roof, and I don't know how to handle it anymore.
Times are tough. The cost of living is causing many to fall into debt through no fault of their own. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and stressed. There are options that can help you get back on your feet. My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I can help you find a solution to become debt-free. Visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
At Cross Mitsubishi, you can rest easy. You're getting a great deal this January, so hurry in now. Finance the 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross ES with super all-wheel control from 0.99% APR OAC, or lease from $309 monthly with $36.88 down. Embrace this winter with our super all-wheel control at only $72 a week for the next 24 months on your brand new 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. Offer ends January 31st. See Cross Mitsubishi in store for details. 9605 34th Ave and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Your furnace can die in the blink of an eye, usually on the coldest night. So why take that chance this winter? Furnace Family, ATCO's newest home service company, can help. Not sure of your furnace's condition? We can check it for free with the purchase of a new furnace, giving you peace of mind and total comfort all winter long. Daikin offers lifetime warranty on their furnace heat exchangers. It could be the last furnace you ever buy. So call Furnace Family Home Services by ATCO today. Jingle time.
Done right, they are night. Family.com.
When the snow hits, again, it's all hands on deck. Thankfully, you have Echo in the Lawnmower Hospital in your corner. Echo's backpack blowers, like the powerful Echo PB9010, can help remove snow from walkways, driveway sand, and more. And the Lawnmower Hospital has pet-safe, plant-safe ice melt to help ensure the job's done. Ice and snow don't stand a chance.
lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.545. Welcome back, Jason Gregor Show, alongside Connor Halley, Declan Kruger here. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. You can always get involved. Text us at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our inboxes. It's time now to get to the lineup brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. They are home of the $50 bi-weekly ATV, and you can be in a boat this summer for as low as $105 bi-weekly. Motorcycles, quads, e-bikes, boats, and more at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. The Edmonton Oilers will have Calvin Pickard in goal tonight as the Oilers have a plan. And you can look at it. This is 48 games in, and they've yet to play Stuart Skinner in more than 3 consecutive games. It doesn't matter how much rest is in between. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. They have a set schedule. And Aiden Hill hasn't started 3 games in a row in Vegas. Obviously, Demko hasn't in Vancouver. Ottinger's only done it once. Right? The only guy who's done it quite often is Hellebuck in Winnipeg, as he's had 4 separate starts of 4 games in a row and 1 of 5. But you don't see a lot of goalies doing it. So obviously, teams they want to limit the amount of starts. And keep in mind that Stuart Skinner, from the start of last year till right now, has the 5th most starts in the NHL. And then if you add in his playoff starts, I think he actually has the most. So, there's no reason to play Skinner more at this point, right? And so it's tonight's starter isn't about who's playing well. It's the Oilers have a set plan, and 3 starts in a row. That's the number that they've set on. Now, does that change? Injuries, whoever, we'll see. But that's their plan right now. Now, on defense, you have the same pairings: Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Stetcher, Kulak, and Emerson. We know that Kulak and Stetcher will switch at different times in the game. Up front, the Draisaitl line remains intact with Podkolzin and Art Arvidsson. The Oilers didn't skate today, but going off practice yesterday, you had Corey Perry with Henrique and Hyman. And then you had Nugent-Hopkins with Brown and Janmark, like they started the game on Tuesday with. And then the 4th line, we'll see Jeff Skinner with Kapanen and Philp. So basically, it's Skinner and Perry swapping spots. We saw that throughout the game. Corey Perry got elevated in that game and scored a goal, the nacho goal, right? By the way, don't throw any nachos on the ice, please. Like, be smarter than that. It's not a good plan. Because in theory, did you know the home team could actually get penalized for it? So I would recommend not doing it. So the Vancouver Canucks on the other side, they will start Mr. Demko in between the pipes. On defense, they've got Hughes with Mark Friedman. They've split up Roenick and Hughes due to the suspension to Tyler Myers. So Roenick's going to play with Soucy, and Desharnais will play with Forbert. Now, Hughes and Roenick, you're going to see them together some, like the last game against Buffalo. They did play 6 minutes together, but usually those guys are playing pretty much every minute, 5-on-5, 15, 16 minutes a night. But Hughes played almost 11 minutes with Friedman and 6 with Roenick last game. Probably see something similar tonight. Up front, it's Pettersson, Besser, and DeBrusk. Miller between Garland and Hui Suter. Bluger with Sherwood and Danton Heinen. And then Max Sassoon looks like he's in with Di Giuseppe and Nils Höglander. Oilers looking to avoid a 3-game losing streak for only the 2nd time this year. Most of you remember the first one. It was the first 3 games of the year. rather disappointed. People thought the sky was falling. They thought the Oilers were done. Obviously, they've righted the ship pretty well since then. So we'll see. Hey, guys, in that section, it was actually a Capitals fan who threw it on the ice. Well, yeah, that's true. And so that's why, it's hard to penalize the home team, because if you knew that, a visiting guy would do it. Although I shouldn't say that. Most fans are I think, wiser than that to do it. But either way, just I watched it. And I know that they got the guy who it was. I couldn't tell from my perch because I was watching, they had people over there right away. And you just, honestly, I've never seen, like, I remember a few years ago I don't know what year of the Decade of Darkness, the first jersey came on the ice. I remember that. And that was obviously a low time in the Oilers organization, no question. The Nacho one is just more, no one was really offended by it. It's more dumb than anything else. So, hey, guys, do you think they continue that goalie plan in the playoffs? I'd like to see it, Sean. I'd be surprised. Stu Skinner played 24 games in the playoffs last year. And that's with him missing 2 games. Most teams, that's why I wanted to look at all the other teams, how often they're starters. Like, not many guys are even starting more than 4 games in a row. Like, Ottinger's done it once. Now, Hellebuck's the guy, he's done it 5 times. But he did that last year, and how did that work out for the Jets? I think they go on rest and fatigue, and you throw in, like, Skinner's really a young goalie. And, like, in his second year, look how many games he started last season. And then he went into the playoffs. They want to try to do it for rest, but no, I don't think they're going to have Skinner play game 1, 2, and 3, and automatically you're going to play Calvin Pickard in game 4. I don't think so. Hey, guys, true stories in my section. The Nacho guy tried to fight the police, ended up getting tasered. Yeah, I heard that story. Jeez, man, that's when you probably wake up in the drunk tank, and you're like, huh, that really wasn't a good decision, right? I don't know, man. You're at a sporting event, you throw the nachos on the ice, and then you think to elevate that to the next level, you're going to get in an altercation with police officers. Like, oof. You thought the nacho throw was a bad decision. That looks like the better decision of the two. Not wise.
Does he instantly become Nacho Man in his friend group, or what?
I don't know. Dude.
Or is that too soon?
Well, here's the thing, though. If you go around bragging about that, like, if that was one of my buddies, be like, what an idiot. Like, it wouldn't even be fun. Him, like, what are you doing? And then fighting the police, like, come on. So, yeah. I don't know. Something tells me he might not want to tell his friends it was him.
Or try to remain anonymous.
Right? Like, I know today there are some people, hey, look at me. I did something really stupid. Let's put it online. And, like, I don't know. I guess so. Right? But, I don't like, your friends might laugh, but behind your back, they'd be like, capital I for idiot. That's what they're saying. No question. Coming up, Cons, you hosting again? We got Walks back. Who's hosting?
He is back today, yes.
Walks is back. All right. Walker and Paulson will be in for the pregame show. The Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. Some early scores in the NHL. Connor will update you on those. Have yourselves a great... Connor's actually going to be hosting the show for the next week, taking a little break. So enjoy it with the Con Man and Declan and all the guests. So everybody have yourselves a great time. I'll talk to you when I get back. Here's the Connor Halley Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling Home. The no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Just over an hour away from puck drop down at Rogers Place as the Oilers host the Canucks. We've got pregame coverage coming up for you at the top of the hour with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson right here on Sports 1440. Currently games underway, all at the first intermission. Bruins sends scoreless. The Red Wings lead the Canadians 2-0. Rangers on top of the Flyers 2-1. And the Hurricanes at home trail the Jackets 2-0 this evening at the Blues and the Golden Knights. Utah heads to Minnesota. Flames host the Sabres. Ducks in Anaheim, cracking up against the Capitals. And at 8:30 to wrap it all up, the Preds in San Jose. In the association earlier today, it was the Spurs knocking off the Pacers 140-110 in Paris. Right now, Raptors on top of the Hawks 20-12. Grady Dick leading the way with 11 points. And the Magic at home trail the Blazers 34-31. Later tonight, Heat take on the Bucks, Thunder, Mavs, Kings in Denver, Warriors up against the Bulls, the Celtics in Los Angeles taking on the Lakers. Meanwhile, the other LA team, Clippers, hosting the Wizards. Some news from the soccer world here as Bayern Munich star Alphonso Davies suffered a muscle strain in his left hamstring during Wednesday's Champions League game. Davies left the 3-0 loss late in the first half with the injury. Back in December, he did miss 2 games with a torn muscle fiber. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got pregame coverage. Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson here on Sports 1440. And once that one wraps up, we'll be back with postgame as well. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Yeah, it's Sports 1440.
A Stingray.